Freaks. This is episode 42, the soft reboot. I am William Jerk.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Adrian.
He's Adrian.
Sorry.
Welcome back to our new show.
Ironically, yeah. Okay,
Ironically.
Yeah. This is fun. I'm sorry. It's hard to explain. We've had some technical difficulties getting this episode started, so excuse us for laughing a little bit on certain things.
This is literally our third try trying to get this intro out. So
obviously we're
Shaking
shaking off the rust.
Shaking
getting
the
rust
off.
It's been a whole year since our
Last episode.
Since
even
COVID,
more.
back when we were called Heroes to what's the other one I keep forgetting?
Heroes to essential workers,
Essential workers.
to back to just being regular old workers.
Because we were all working at least 60 hours since what?
When it
January of
started.
last year.
Yeah, March at least. Yeah.
So
For
yeah,
the
we're
most
a little too busy to do shows, but we kept up on our Instagram and Facebook page if you guys want to check it out.
But yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons we're calling it the soft reboot because it's been a long time. So it's like we're just basically restarting the show in a sense, and starting off fresh. So
Yeah. And well, obviously with no movie theaters opened up, so it was hard to even try to find movies to review.
Yeah, not even movie news. There was nothing coming out.
Because the only movie news was the same story. It was everything was getting pushed back, like Black Widow and like all the Marvel movies.
Not even video games. We didn't really nothing came out besides Cyberpunk, and everyone trashed on it.
Yeah, it's true.
That was a full year.
Yeah, it's crazy. But we're back, and let's get back into the full swing of things, and let's start off with the nerdy news headlines. What is new in this new world of movie news?
Number 5, we have the Resident Evil 25 years anniversary.
well, I saw a post on something. It might even be longer than that, but yeah, I mean. It's a franchise that's been going on for a very long time. Everyone has their franchises that they all like, probably. I mean, you probably have yours.
Dragon Quest.
And that's got some time on it, too. That's
Oldest
started
there is,
back
sir.
in, like, Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
So-
Granddaddy of all RPGs.
I want to say that Resident Evil, was platformed on PlayStation. It was one of the, I want to say one of the initial launches, but it was one of the first real good horror games for PlayStation, I want to say.
Yeah, I know, like a lot of those early games, I never really got into them, like Zelda and then Resident Evil in the 90s. And it was a very. I wasn't that type of video gamer until like my high school years, and then I played Resident Evil Nemesis. That was the first Resident Evil game I played on PlayStation. My friend let me borrow it.
Well,
that was fun.
what's funny for
It was
me
so
is
hard.
my first Resident Evil game. It sounds funny because I'm actually a fan of Resident Evil. But my first actual Resident Evil game that I purchased and played for myself was actually 5. But I saw every single one of them. Like I used to love watching my brother play them. That's how we used to know so much about games. Is always watching my brother play these games. I watched them play 1, 2, and 3. Like doing the fast runs through them, doing the survival mode on them.
Yeah.
The first one I bought was actually Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation 2 store. Oh
Yeah,
no, the 360
way out.
store.
I bought
360 store when they
Resident
ported
Evil
it.
2 on the 64.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It looked great. It played great. That was probably the first one I'd beaten. But yeah, that old.
I never beat Resident Evil 4. To be funny enough, I played it for like a little bit, and I got as far as I don't even remember where I got. To be honest with you, I don't even remember where I left off on. It was difficult because the aiming mechanics were just like, coming off of like the new wave of games, so that going back to that kind of aiming mechanic where it's like you're
Over the shoulder.
over the shoulder, and you have to actually stop and point. You can't actually walk in point. That
doesn't lock on.
I feel like that was the substitute for taking away the tank controls, which I mean I'm pretty sure people didn't care to get away from tank controls. I mean those were already hard
Yeah,
to
it was
begin
stressful, man. Corners and stuff.
Yeah, because you got tank controls and you have stationary cameras, so they took all that elements away. But I like that because I played part of 4, but I played 5 before I played 4, so it was like taking a step back. Because 5 was a bit more fluid. You could aim. I don't remember if you could walk while you're shooting, but I don't think you could.
I haven't played it yet. It's on Game Pass right now.
Oh, I still have it on my. I could re-download it anytime. It's a purchase game I've had forever. But I feel like 4 left it in there for you to still have that vulnerability of like you can't just keep walking away from someone blasting them. You gotta stand still and shoot. You gotta aim and shoot. So,
Well, have you guys seen trailers? I know you guys. Trailers came out for the new one.
Yeah, I just saw it today, actually.
You just saw it?
Yeah.
That's one of the only good things that came out this
are they calling it 8 or just Village?
Village,
But it's pretty much 8.
Yeah, but they're doing that sneaky thing where where it's Village, it's VILL, and then they have it
It's
like
8.
it's Roman numerals. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some
Clever.
videos on. I haven't followed it too much because again, I never played 7.
I played 7.
Like I love
Seven was good, yeah.
horror games, but I love watching horror games rather than playing them.
Just watch like I don't know,
Like it's
Pro Gear
funny.
watch
Like
it.
I try to play them and like I have a good time, but it's just
Was that-
I'm so cautious. Like I would be in, like how I play is how I'd probably be in real
Like
life.
step
Actually,
Just like turn around a corner, you see blood all over the place, and be like, "Fuck that!" I was kidding. And I'd be like, "No, I'm good. I'm gonna go back over here."
Actually, after I played 2, the remake, I bought 7 because I'm like, wow, I actually kind of like this. Once I figured out the puzzles and 2, like that was a learning curve for me. And then I played all of it, like each version of the campaign, and then I played the secondary versions of the campaign. You know, I think the only thing I didn't do was go into the different difficulties. But then I bought 7, and I actually like 7. 7 so far is like one of my favorite games of the Resident Evil franchise, only because it's so different from what the other
It's
games
very
are.
different,
It's
yeah.
scary. Like it's actually scary. That's what I like about it. Like
no backtracking. It kind of had not a super linear, but it was huge enough that you can like wrap around and meet up where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. So like once you got somewhere, it's like there's no reason to go back other than
Yeah, it's not like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 where you have to like, I have
5
like.
doesn't let you go back either. But well, it's funny you said the whole you went through and did everything. Like it's the same thing I did in 5. I played that so much. I played like 5-6 run throughs on that thing to try to get everything, all the weapons maxed out. So that was my introduction to playing it, and I guess you could say it was scary, but you could really see where they went the more action oriented route in 5. I mean, they have the most infamous scene at the end of 5 where Chris punches the giant ass boulder.
oh yeah.
Which is so funny because even before that, because let's see, that game came out in, I was still living up in the mountains, so that was like 2007, 2000. I think it came out in 2006.
Like 15 years ago?
It came down in 2005 or 2006. I can't remember, but because I distinctly remember playing it when I first started working for our company. Maybe it was a little bit later than that, but yeah, even before like YouTube was a huge thing, and they started making fun of that scene. I remember playing that part, and I'm like, what the? Okay.
Yeah, I
He's
remember.
punching a boulder like 10 times his size. All right, Chris.
When it's in motion, yeah.
I remember my
They
best
always
friend.
call him Chris Roydfield.
I remember my best friend. He's a big Resident Evil fan. Like ever since
I'm a
the
huge
first
Resident
game.
Evil fan.
Yeah, since it came out on PlayStation, and he, I watched him play 4, so I kind of knew how 4 played out because I just watched him play it. Like I took the control from him every now and then, but never really fully grasped the game. But when 5 came out, I remember him being so disappointed with the game because it wasn't what 4 was, and he didn't like it. And then I don't even think he played 6.
It was such a tonal shift from what was the survival horror, because it wasn't survival horror anymore. It was horror elements in an action oriented. So became more of the movies. How you watch the movies now and you're like, they have more jump scares than they are scary or horror. And like
It makes me more think to how people would feel how Final Fantasy V came out. Is that the one with Cloud?
No, it's 7.
Seven, yeah. Like I said, Dragon Quest. You want to go some Dragon
Well,
Quest?
thanks for
logic?
listening to our podcast. I understand if we lose like half the people that ever listen to it.
I only played
5.
It's 7, right?
Yes, it's
7, yeah. Okay, so how
The first
7
one out
is,
for PlayStation.
where it's not totally different, but it's like kind of like how
Well, 7's considered more pinnacle. I think just because now we're talking about Final Fantasy. It's funny how we get.
well, it just seems like
But
it's the kind
yeah.
of differences. Yeah.
I'm the one that goes off
And I was gonna say it's funny how things change because it's the same thing. That was when Square Enix jumped and they associated with Sony because that's when Sony switched up and decided to launch their own thing and make the PlayStation, and they got Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy was originally for Nintendo,
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
and originally Nintendo and Sony were gonna make a console that was like a dual console that played CDs as well as I think cartridge games or something like that. Like they had the design for what they were gonna make, but they just couldn't get it to launch anything, or they just couldn't get it going. So Sony's like, you know what? We're gonna make our own thing.
Oh, that's because they wanted.
I saw the system. It looked kind of janky.
Yeah, they gave what's it called that Zelda the Zelda and Link game. What's it called on the Philips CDI? They had a big contract with Sony and stuff. And they're like, no, we're gonna give it to Philips, even though Philips doesn't make games. And Sony's like, no, we had a deal. And it's like, well,
I mean, talk
no, we
about
don't.
making something out of nothing. I mean,
Yeah, and they did it just out of spite, and they rolled the world down. But
I mean, yeah, look where they are, and it's the same thing for Resident Evil. I mean, yeah, you could say it had its rough patches. I mean, 25 years.
Yeah, there's a lot
Plus,
of stinkers, a lot of side quests.
There's a lot of great and there's a lot of junk in there. If anyone's ever goes to the history, there's a good thing on YouTube. I can't remember who made it, but they have a whole timeline of not just the story, but the games that came out, and it does a whole from start.
I've
to
seen
finish.
older ones. Yeah, there's a couple of them.
It's like 1995 or 1996, whenever it came out, and
yeah, I remember. I think the timeline's very weird because the first like few games are like.
Well, it's funny because when it launched, the time frame matches up in like modern time. It's like if you watch an older movie now and it's like present day. Well, it's like 10 years ago. You're like present day back then is like 2010 or something like that. Because the original game takes place in like 1998.
Oh yeah.
Or 1997, 1998.
Yeah.
So it's cool that when they did the remake, they did the same thing. They didn't jump forward in time. Obviously, the tech even back then was really.
Oh yeah, they had
high-tech
those
for
cell
Resident
phones on the table and
Yeah,
stuff.
or like electronics, and when you got to
That
the
remake
lab,
was
it's
pretty.
all So they made the remake, and they still kept it to the fact that there was it's pretty old school looking thing. They didn't modernize it and say, well, it's from now time. You know.
Still have to save on the typewriter.
Yeah.
Some kids are probably playing that like, what's a typewriter?
It's really good for nostalgic players and also for people coming in brand new.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, I've heard of this, or oh, this is what it was like.
Like the remake.
It was like this, but not exactly as smooth, or Leon didn't look young. He just kind of had a smudge face, like, hey, hello, my name.
Yeah, it is Blocko.
Best music ever too. I'm sorry, but hands down, Resident Evil has some of the most eerie music in the first two games. Like, I'd even say the first one had some. I remember watching that as a kid, watching my brother play that and be like, there's some scary ass shit. Just the music alone they would play. And then when you played 2, the same thing. Nemesis.
Yeah, I never played Nemesis.
It was made. It was originally, I think it was originally supposed to be 4, because I think Code Veronica was supposed to be the original 3. No, I'm sorry. They made Nemesis because they were making Code Veronica, and they just went, you know what? Let's just put Nemesis out, call it 3. But that's why it's called Nemesis. And then Code Veronica is technically supposed to be the successor to the first 2 games.
They still linear though. My God, some other games like Kingdom Hearts, it's just all over the place.
Like we can literally put a whole episode of video games to talk about the backgrounds of all of them. But yeah, I mean, congratulations. I mean, I want to. They're gonna do the whole Netflix series. So that looks interesting.
That looks good. Yeah, zombies are coming back again.
Yeah, it's good to see it going back to zombies. Then you got 8, which looks very interesting, and then they just finished wrapping filming for the live action movie, the Reboot, I guess.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah. Which people were all mad about who they cast Chris Fairfield. But that's not Chris Fairfield, Leon.
Leon
S. Kennedy.
I saw who it was, and I was just like, he doesn't look like Leon. I want to say I've seen the actor. I want to say he fits more for Carlos.
Yeah.
From Nemesis, I would say he could have played Carlos. I would have picked him for Carlos. He's a Hispanic?
No, he's not Hispanic. He's Canadian, but I think he has a.
He's just a really dark.
Can't go wrong with Canadians, man. No one complains about them.
I mean, I didn't.
I think he's of Indian.
I've seen him in something. I don't know him fully, like background or anything. But
no, yeah, he's a good. He's a decent.
He's a good.
Actor.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm not
he's
gonna
not
say.
bad.
Like I'm hesitant on any live action Resident Evil property because of the movies. So until I see, he can't be any worse than the actual guy they cast in the live action Resident Evil movie who played Leon.
Well, I can just say that I don't even remember who it was.
See,
I know he kind of looked like
Leon in the movies.
Yeah, he looked exactly like him, but as far as I remember, he was very unmemorable, and they killed him off in between movies. If I remember correctly,
they just don't even show up. I think. No, those movies, people just randomly disappear.
Yeah.
They don't even have death scenes. They just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, oh no, that person.
We're straying off topic a little. Let's go on to
Number 4.
We're talking about the movie.
Yeah.
So number 4, the Winter Soldier, a Falcon show.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah.
I saw 1 episode.
I've
so
seen
far.
None of it.
I've seen all 5 episodes.
Not because I don't want to watch it. It's just I'm waiting for it to finish so I can just binge watch it.
Yeah.
Is it as good as WandaVision?
It's not as good as WandaVision. WandaVision definitely had you more on the edge of your seat from episode to episode. You don't get that edge of your seat feeling until, I'd say, episode 4. And
Well, from what I got from it, like, WandaVision was its own thing. It didn't feel like a movie. Falcon and Winter Soldier feels like a movie.
Well, that was Kevin Feige's intention. He said at the Disney shareholders meeting that it's not he doesn't envision it as a series, even though it's an episodic format. He sees it as a 6-hour movie, and that's the way they filmed it too. They filmed it as
a Snyder cut movie.
Well, I was gonna say, what movie did that? Because it was really long. Was it The Irishman?
The Irishman was like 4 hours long,
yeah.
but it wasn't an episode.
No,
it was
but
4 hours.
they did a movie like that where they, if you watch it on Netflix,
Oh
it's
no,
actually
that's the
cut up
Hateful
in
Eight.
that.
It was
Oh
yeah,
no,
the
the
Hateful
Hateful Eight. Thank you.
That was
it was extended.
awesome
Yeah,
movie.
it was,
It's the extended version, but
it's
they
basically
cut it
his
into
director's
episode.
cut, but he did it in an episodic format. Yeah, so that's kind of what they're doing for this one. It definitely that's why it feels like it's a movie and it's not like a regular run of the mill TV show. But it's a lot different than WandaVision. It's the story's more linear and you're not like wondering what the heck is going on.
No, it was a whole bunch of like, oh damn, they fucked up, like a bunch of screw yous and happening and stuff. Like I said, I only saw the first one. The first one was you can't get a loan because like, oh, you've been out like for 7 years.
I was dusted out of existence.
And
I
like,
didn't
well,
exist
too
for
bad.
5 years.
You can't get a loan anyway.
Sounds like the corporate world.
Yeah, and then in the end they brought out like the random Captain America that no one even asked Falcon if he wants to be like.
A lot of people are calling him Dollar Store Captain America or Captain Walmart.
Yeah, and like he has no connection with the other Avengers that
Well,
are
that's
still
the
out.
point. He's not supposed to. He's basically they explain him in episode 2. If you guys gotta watch it, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but basically the basic premise is he's just a really good soldier. And they picked him because of his record.
So you can sucker punch him in the stomach and he'll drop to the ground.
I mean, I'm not going to give everything away.
Well, it's kind of like that reference in the original Captain America movie when...
not a good soldier, but a good man.
Yeah, they have the doctor that says, what is it? It's like good becomes great.
I guess that's the best way to explain it. It's like if, you know how they, in the original Captain America, that's what Adrian's is touching on a little bit, but... The general, or the colonel, the colonel was trying to find just a good soldier.
Yeah, because you can build up from there. But I'm talking about if you go up to Steve Rogers and you point at the sky and you punch him in the stomach,
you're gonna
break your hand. This dude, you can just sucker punch him, take the shield,
well, he's still
and take off down the street.
He's still a highly trained soldier, and he's one of the best.
If I put a rock in my hand, I sucker punch him.
Oh,
in the army.
Is he not a advanced?
He's not. He's not.
No, he's like nothing.
He's just a regular soldier.
Yeah, just walked out.
He's one of the most highly decorated soldiers in
like,
U.S. Army history.
Even though the movie's not that well received, which I kind of liked, it was the Incredible Hulk.
Remember it's like the guy,
the soldier.
Yeah.
Oh, Blosky?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, played by Sam.
He became the Abomination.
Sam Roth.
Now I just want to watch the Winter Showdown.
Or Tim
I've been wanting to watch more of it, but I've been so busy at work.
It's because that's the better thing about it than WandaVision is the episodes are actually 46 to 50 minutes.
Oh my god, they started on WandaVision, but it was 15 minutes. And then the third episode was a big twist because the credits rolled, but they're having a fight and it just kept going.
Yeah,
that was cool. But yeah, Winter Soldier looks pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's
worth
the
watching.
acting's really good.
The first episode got me.
The standouts in the show are the two main leads, and then the villains. Whatever so far, she hasn't really stood out to me. The main villain, and then they drop in a lot of characters from the MCU past, like Zemo's back from Civil War, and he's really good. Yes, yeah. You saw the dance cut?
No, I saw the meme where it's him sitting in the back of something, and he's like, if we take Wolverine and cut pieces off him, we can solve world hunger. And Falcon's like, he goes something along the lines of like, oh man, you're totally right, but it's kind of a not.
Well, you're messed up, but it's still messed up.
Yeah, but it's still messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, that meme came out today. Yeah, but no. Yeah, Zemo's pretty good in it too, and then
it seems
some other surprise guests that come on that I don't want to spoil for anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
Zemo seems like the kind of bad guy in this one where it's like you, at the end of the maybe 5 episodes in, you're like, yeah, I'm kind of on his side, kind of like how they did with Thanos and stuff. Like, yeah, Thanos is right. Like,
actually, no, you're more on the way they play it. Is like a lot of people I've seen in the fan community are more on the side of the actual main villain of the story, which they go by Flag Smashers. The main villain. They're actually more on Zemo. Without giving too much away, he doesn't have any.
Like he was in the movie, where
I can't
just
really
like how he was in Winter Soldier, he was a back presence. Like he just set stuff in motion.
Civil War.
The Civil War?
Yeah,
well, he kind of just put stuff in motion and step back and watch.
Actually, he was more of a villain of circumstance than if anything else. I mean, he bombed the UN, which caused them to put Bucky on the watch list and everything, but everything was because of circumstance. He just happened to.
It's not the Joker.
Yeah, pretty much.
4 steps ahead.
He wasn't necessarily planning everything out. He was just doing certain things that he ended up capitalizing on. That he figured they would react that way, but if they didn't, I'm pretty sure he continuously said.
See, I want to watch more episodes now.
Yeah, watch it.
I want to.
One more episode, you guys can
nothing
binge
to
it
say
all.
about it, so I'm like,
That's good. So on number 3, we have the new Avatar everything coming out. New channel, new studio,
Avatar
everything.
Studios. Yeah, for Paramount Plus.
Avatar Studios. What is this? What is Avatar Studios? Like Avatar
TV show, Avatar movies,
creators-
Avatar toy line, Avatar
Avatar-
Spaceballs, the cereal.
Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Okay, yeah, I'm like, there's 2
Oh,
different
sorry.
avatars out there, bro. I'm
Yeah,
like,
James Cameron. Not James Cameron
I was
Avatar.
like the Drew
yeah.
Cameron.
No, we're getting 15 of those as well.
Yeah, we are. But no, so
no, that's the first I've heard about that.
the creators, after they split with Netflix because of creative differences on the live action series, I guess Paramount, like, well, we need all the IP we can get.
Of anything.
People
No,
love that
it's
show
still
too.
they're still going through with it. It's just the original creators aren't going to be a part of it. They're probably going to have producer credits, but that's about
That's
it.
okay, I guess, because I mean, didn't they have not a lot, but they gave okays to like M Night's?
No,
version?
they actually that's what came out later on is that they tried to
but
get.
I just
input.
remember when it came down to M Night, they were like, "Oh yeah,"
Probably. Like,
They didn't really have. a
but
say in
I
that.
feel like they. That's why I said I feel like maybe they were just saying, "Oh yeah, has a great vision for it, blah blah blah." Maybe because they had a great show, but all they had was the one show out, and it did really great. So maybe they were still thinking that, "Oh, we're still like, who are we? This guy's a big director. Let's
Well,
let's
and
just talk
everyone
him
knew
up."
his name, so we're probably like, yeah, this is
Yeah,
great.
but you're
We
like
know
the
he's going to
only.
take care of it.
You're like the only person in the world that actually likes that live action Avatar movie.
Oh,
It's
terrible.
fine.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It was
Terrible.
fine.
There's
Terrible
nothing-
children.
Terrible.
There's nothing.
I could point out some terrible
There
movies
are
to you.
some. No,
That is
no.
terrible.
Here's
Wanna
my
watch
idea.
the new,
No, hold on. This is my part on the terrible aspect ratio. Is there's certain movies where I can watch that everyone says, "Well, how can you watch that? It's a garbage movie." I'm like, because at least it's fun. Like if you were to put certain movies in front of me, Avatar's really not on that list. If you're like, well, you can choose any of these crappy movies, what would you like to throw? I'd be like, definitely not that. I could watch anything else like
I would ask.
Batman and Robin.
I would
something like
ask
that.
them to give me the movie, and then I would literally break it in front of them. It's Dragon Ball Evolution bad.
Dragon Ball Evolution was bad.
I
That
wouldn't
was
watch
bad.
that either.
Like the Monster
bad.
Hunter movie, that looks awful.
I haven't seen that. but
Avatar the movie was fine. I watched it once. That's all. I'm never watch it, but I don't like. I'm not asking.
You
for
didn't watch it again. And so do this. Watch the entire series.
Nothing
on
happened in that
Netflix,
movie.
And then that's
Well,
the point. That's why it's bad. Nothing happens in that movie.
I know.
That's the problem. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the main problem with the movie is they try to fit. Here's
Yeah,
how I
books,
think that they could have
TV
actually.
show, movie.
What I
it.
would have done, I would have just talked to the things and been like, "There's no way we can do this in 3 movies. It's impossible."
Mhm.
And I would tell them, "Let's do a Lord of the Rings style thing." And you don't even have to do the advanced filming like that. I mean, you just film, and get what you can. They don't have to be super long movies because, if they get better, then you can lengthen them as they get to the end. But book 1 should have been either 2 or 3 movies.
What do you think that's how they're going to do it now?
They're gonna
I
do the
would.
series now, so the series is gonna be one. It's gonna be the books, the book 1, but in a series format. So you figure they're probably gonna be able to condense like 3 or 4 episodes.
I would have gone
material
like
to one
Harry
episode.
Potter style and just been like, if we're gonna do the entirety of the movie, we gotta just split it up into movies, not 3 movies, not all 3 books. Because like book 1, I'm like, as soon as I saw the book 1 thing, I'm like, there's no way how are you gonna fit all that story from the first season was great. I mean, it's one of the softer seasons, but it makes sense. It gets you into it. There's some pretty decent stakes to it, and you're also getting to know about one side as well as the other. You got Aang's side and you got Zuko's side, and you're learning those parallel. And it was really interesting how you start caring for the other person. Where you're like, is he supposed to be the bad guy?
And one of the main things that really bugged me about the live action movie was how much they didn't really care about the lore when it came to the abilities. Like the only the whole thing with fire, they need a source and everything like that. Like it makes
They nerfed everybody.
Yeah, they nerfed everybody. Even the Earthbenders. Like they had there was that whole scene when they were breaking them out of the prison.
They're in prison
a whole,
on land.
dozen of them, they're in prison in dirt and they can't get out of prison.
I was like,
and they're Earthbenders, and then it took like 12 of them to throw one little tiny boulder.
Like I actually never watched the movie. Like I rented it.
At Blockbuster.
Because we were just curious. No, actually, this was Video Depot when it was actually.
Ooh, Video
still
Depot. That's the local version of it.
And my,
just kept it.
and my dad actually watched it, and I walked in because my brother was still here. Actually, this was a while back, He was still living here, and I walked in there and I was like, "Hey, how's the movie?" Out cold. He's just snoring. I'm like, "Is it good?" No, I guess not. It's like, and I was watching the scene. It was like the prison escape scene is when I walked in.
Yeah, you're like,
and all I said was like, and I was like, "That's the Blue Spirit." I was like, "You look like a dumbass."
Yeah.
What's with the giant coiffed hair and everything? I was like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
It was his own interpretation.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to slam on someone's work, but
That's
I mean, it was just
like
really
about
bad.
directors. Well, what are they doing? So the new series
The
is
series
live
on
action?
Netflix is totally different. Is separate from the Avatar Studios. It's the Netflix original thing. They're adapting it in live action. Then Avatar Studios is just going to be a whole new set of series and like
different timelines, stuff like that.
It's gonna but it's all gonna be animated. So it's gonna be for Paramount's animated division, Nickelodeon, basically.
Kind of like the DC animated
much,
series type thing.
So there's gonna be new
That'd be kinda cool.
series.
Be an Earthbender now.
Yeah, there's gonna be a new series. I think there's some rumored reports that they might actually finally do a continuation series of Aang and Team
Oh,
Avatar.
They did.
No,
like
there's been a
actual-
lot of arguments.
Oh,
with
it's
people.
Aang like.
As he grows up, as
Oh.
he becomes, before he dies and Korra starts.
There's been a lot of people that wanted to see that, and I saw some people's comments, like fan comments, where they're like, "Stop whining! You know, we got something new. Why do you guys? I don't want to see progression. Cause I don't want to see characters get ruined." I'm like, "Yeah, but you gotta blame that on Legend of Korra for showing flashbacks of older Aang and the problems that they still face. Cause it's kind of like Star Wars. It's like." Just because they beat the Emperor at the end, you think all these people just stop what they're doing?
Yeah,
they're like,
still, like
we lost.
bases everywhere. Yeah.
Guess I'm going home. No, it's like people are gonna be disgruntled. People in the Fire Nation are gonna be disgruntled. People in the Earth Nation,
Yeah,
are
power
still gonna be
vacuum, man.
Yeah, for Korra, they tried to have it both ways. They tried to have a story separate from the original Avatar series, but then also have
the problems
ties
from
to
that.
it.
Yeah.
And it
I
just
love
didn't
Korra,
work out
too.
because every time they did anything that involved the past Avatar members, like I think one of the biggest complaints was that all the living Team Avatar people, which is in Korra, which was Zuko, Katara, and Toph, they never had a scene together, which was like you would think that they would at least do like one little.
There's fan
thing.
service, and then there's not giving the fans the proper fan service, and that sounds funny because I've never liked the idea. Like if we started doing stuff and people are like, we want you to talk about this solely this, I'd be like, I don't want to bend the knee to that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you do got to feed the masses every
Yeah,
now
but
and then.
that's
Be like, "Here
not
you
to
go."
their characters though. If their character was like, we gotta stick together, we'll see each other on Christmas, but that was not Toph's attitude at all.
No, but you got to remember these people had a lifetime of like they became friends over extreme circumstances,
No.
and they all. But the problem is what he's saying is they reference too much of past stuff of them all still being around each other. Like Toph is the head of
The police force of
thing.
the-
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they do. This new series can be that.
Yeah, that's what's exciting. is that-
Sokka was one of the high diplomat people. You know.
Sokka died.
Yeah, and we don't know when, and we don't know if he had.
Like
kids or not.
I guess I would say because we're getting way out.
Oh, there's some rumors that he's actually the father of one of Toph's kids, which is an interesting one right there. It's
I mean, it'd be
fan
a
theory.
bit more.
It's cool.
I don't know. It's
I watched that series twice, and it never occurred to me about that.
I mean, all I'm saying is you can see where there's plenty of stuff to do. It just depends on what they want to run with it.
Well, they will. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it too. I mean, I'm very excited, especially if they do a older Avatar series with older Avatar Aang, like them in their like in their 20s.
That would be cool. And then maybe like a time jump thing of. I don't want to say come to our time, but closer to our time, because obviously they're showing the progression. You know, there's cars and stuff in Korra. I've only seen bits and pieces of Korra. I want to fully watch it, but yeah, to go, past that, to maybe go to like the 90s, maybe early 2000s era,
or like a 70s era
Or, yeah.
Avatar series. That'd be pretty wild. Seeing some.
Like I would just hate to see them trying to because what's good about the original Avatar series is there were messages getting across, but they were so well written that even for adults, like. We're talking about Avatar now, but even when that series came out, most of us were already in our 20s or at least in our late teens. What it came out in 2005.
Sir, I was 16 years old when that movie.
Well, again, I just said
Or was I
teenage
16?
years to going into your 20s, and it was a good enough show that kept it. But even at that age, 16, you think you'd be past shows like that.
Yeah, see, and I was,
But it was written
actually
so
when,
well.
when Avatar was first coming out, I was of the age where I'm like, I'm too old for cartoons. I need to stop watching cartoons.
Anime now.
And yeah, exactly. It's all about Dragon Ball Z. Cartoons are for kids, and then I started watching
Dragon Ball Z,
Avatar.
bro.
and I'm
That's like more like my time when I was at that. That's not you.
Me?
Let's see.
like, no, Dragon Ball
That
Z
was Naruto.
Not Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z.
No, but I was.
I'm
gonna
not
say,
that young. Like, Naruto was.
Yeah, but Naruto was around that time.
No, not for me.
It was 2004, 5 when I already out of high school. That one became popular. Like 2003, 2002, it's all about Inuyasha.
I distinctively,
Inuyasha,
you're probably right though.
Yu Yu Hakusho for me on Toonami.
And Full Metal.
I think I missed the Full
I
Metal
got all
train.
messed up and see, Full Metal. I got my little.
Look at that sexy.
Ooh, look at them abs. He killed his mom.
The law
wait,
of exchange.
So, number 2, we have
we're jumping already. Sorry.
Oh, we're going fast. We're
Wow, now we're all fast. Man.
Probably already almost an hour in.
Yeah. Number 2, Harry Potter on HBO Max, new series.
What's that going to be about again?
We don't know. No one knows. All I know, it's been green light, HBO Max, because they got to keep people in that. They built a theme park around this. They can't just have it die at those movies.
They're already like slow. The fan base is slowly turning on J.K. Rowling with all her personal controversy. We won't touch on that.
Let's not dive into that's a hole that we could fall
I'm pretty
down.
sure gonna do it with more kids though.
More kid friendly. They got to bring in younger.
You know what they need to go back to? And tell me if I'm crazy here. They need to go back to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be Hogwarts.
I know it sounds
kids.
funny, but yeah, you just need to go back to Hogwarts, have that type of
Yeah,
world.
because that's the one thing that kind of like I don't like about the Fantastic Beasts series so far is that
it's in the world, but it's like
it's weird. Like I watched both of them twice in a row, 2 times, and it's like it feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say they're entertaining with who they have, but I can see if you came in blind, you'd be confused.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, "What's going on? Why is this going on?" I'd be like, "It's a hard follow," and it really shouldn't be because you watch the original Harry Potters. They had the format of like, "What are these kids doing?"
Beautifully made, yeah.
What are these kids doing? It's like, "Oh, they're going to school."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they have something that they're going to, and all this other stuff is happening while they're trying to attend school.
Yeah.
Where this one, they have the freedom to go wherever they will. They're all adults. They're already out of school. They're all trained, so it's just like they can go wherever. But they're trying to say, hey, this is this place. Hey, this is this place. And it's like, well, I never read the book, so I don't know where the hell they are. It's like, yeah, you can keep telling me that. I don't know where. London? I don't know any place in London. Give me some subtext on something. What are we doing here? Why are we here?
Yeah. The only good thing about it is so far removed from the timeline of Harry Potter that they can, and that's also the detriment to the Fantastic Beasts series is like they don't have anything to reference, so it's like they're so far removed from the original franchise that it's like anything that they do now that tries to reference the original franchise.
Yeah, I can't remember any of their names besides Newt and stuff like that.
I feel Part 2 did a better job of that, although they probably could have streamlined it better or focused up a bit more. Was the introduction of Dumbledore and stuff like that, and it was kind of cool to see all that and be like, oh, you can see the early years of this. Like, I'm more interested to see what him and Grindelwald are gonna do. I feel like someone mentioned it, and I said, you know what? That's true. I know they want to keep Newt and all the other side characters in it as best they can, which is a good part of it. But they're really referencing the thing between Dumbledore and Grindelwald, and you're kind of like, I want to see them, like see what they're doing.
Well, you can't.
How they're gonna come across.
They'll be really smart because you know who really loves these books? Young, like 13-year-old, 12-year-old girls have a new series starting with a 12-year-old like new main person as a girl, then do with like Dumbledore maybe like going through stuff like he had to do, but more interesting. Because if you do a TV series, you can have friends and stuff and stretch it out. But like, instead of like another like boy or I don't know how Newt was, like a 25-year-old weird British man.
In his 30s, I think.
Well, they can make it about anybody they want. They can make it about girls. They don't even have to focus on one main character. They could. I feel like it'd be better if they focus on multiple main characters, not pick one sole one. Like,
oh yeah, you gotta have like the group of 3 or 4.
Well, it doesn't have to be the trio. It could be 2. It could be 4. It could be 5.
But a main girl would be smart though.
Yeah, I mean you're catering to a certain demographic on that one,
but they've always been about the parties. I mean, this one, I guess, because Harry was the main thing, but you had Hermione and Ron. And this one you have Newt, and you have all the others. So.
And then we don't know their names.
I had it in my head, and I honestly...
The fat one.
You made me, like... When you said that, I was like, wow, you made me blank right now, too. So I'm like, great.
Yeah. No, but I think Will's onto something, like, that it is a...
I mean, yes, you want to focus on one person and why they're all...
Well, it's kind of like... That is kind of what Harry Potter was. I mean... Even though it was the trio and the main character was Harry Potter, there should be a main character.
Yeah, main character. Doing it as a girl would make most sense because you sell more books. Girls love those stories. I know my wife grew up with that stuff.
Well, that's why I said it doesn't. I mean, because you can argue that Harry was the main character, but there's a lot more interesting characters. Stop me if I'm wrong here. That were in that universe too, where you're just like,
oh yeah, there was a
that
brilliantly
person's
made
cool, or this
universe. Like,
person's just
who loved Longbottom? Like, he was the unsung hero of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even that jackass who keep exploding himself at the end of the last one, he like killed a bunch of like bad wizards and stuff.
Because he knew how to blow things up.
Yeah, like that was a brilliantly made universe that we all loved. That like you can definitely expand upon. That's why I had the whole theme park that I want to go to Universal for.
see, that's what I'm saying. Is you can make it about that side of the students, where it's like the average students that showed aptitude. Obviously, you can always say the main cast is like the best ones of it, but I'm like, there's some people that were probably way smarter than
Oh
we
yeah,
were.
like what's her name? Luna. I love Luna and Tonks. I named my old cat after her.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So I mean, if that's what they're gonna do, that's great. I would just hate to see, like I say for everything, like the Avatar thing or even the Harry Potter thing, because everything nowadays is a bit more about it. Like we gotta get a point across or a message across, which I'm totally fine with, as long as it's handled correctly. I've been watching some shows lately where I'm like, that is heavy-handed. I mean, Jesus Christ! It's like I just grab the person by the neck.
Droids are people too, sir.
Yeah.
Droids are people too.
It's like
Equal
I'm
rights.
waiting for them to like knock on my door and be like, "Can we talk to you about something?" We're like, "No, I want to watch a show." Uh-oh. I hope that's gonna be picking up in the background a lot.
It's fine.
That's alright.
Not that loud.
Make a text.
But that's what I mean by that. I'm not trying to say oh, you can't have messages in my thing. It's more of a, if you're gonna have messages, that's perfectly fine. Just be subtle about it. Like
message.
get me to think about it later and go like, you know what? That goes part of my life right now. That's very interesting. It made me think about that. But I don't want to be like, think about this. Smoke.
Smoke.
Well, I guess
Smoke.
to touch on that, that's a good thing about Falcon and Winter Soldier too, is that they do have messages in there, but it's not in your face messaging. It's pretty subtle.
Like wearing a hat kind of message and not saying anything about it.
Yeah. Exactly. I like it.
And I've never seen you actually wear a hat.
Yeah, I didn't feel my hair today, so I.
Oh, okay.
I stopped wearing mine because I finally got a haircut.
Plus,
So,
it felt appropriate. We're talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hail Hydra.
So number one, real fast, we'll get the news out of the way. So we've been like an hour talking already. Small
The good
thing.
old days.
Good old days. Small little thing. What we've been doing in 2020 since we took our little break.
Working.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
pretty much it.
the first 4 months of 2020, or well, it's 2021 now.
Yeah.
That dates us right there. Obviously, when all this started with the sickness that will not be named started, we worked for a grocery company. We're not gonna say which one, but we worked for a grocery company. And all three of us. That's how we met. That's how we got the show going. Actually, no, that's how you guys got the show going. And I was originally a listener.
Yes.
And I always tell people at work when I
Hi,
reference our
Danica,
thing.
if you're still watching.
I miss you,
watching.
Danica.
I never met you in person, but I know of you. I listen to you a lot.
Yeah, that was the original. That was the original 3.
It's funny when people ask me and they go like, "Oh, you have a show." I'm like, technically, I'm part of a show. I guess I am.
You're on
part
the
of
show,
it.
yeah.
I am now.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I didn't start till like episode. I look back. I think it's like 23, 24.
Yeah.
Halfway.
Yeah.
Well, we're about 2 years in, I think, when Adrian joined us. Huh?
Yeah, I joined as it.
Oh wow, I was at my old apartment.
That's right. So it's been longer than that.
Yeah, before I one kid. Kaylee was a baby.
Yeah,
It's
because
a long time ago.
Danica, her last show, I think, was when Kaylee had just been born.
I forgot where I was going with this actually too.
We're
But
talking
I
about
used to talk in the car and complain about watching, listening to the show. Like,
oh no, I would give you guys feedback because you would ask. You'd
Yeah.
be like, "How was it?" And I'd be like, giving back feedback. Then you guys invited me.
And the feedback.
And
was
that's
always,
when we first
Michael
met.
goes off on way too many tangents. Yes, I did.
Michael just goes on and
I
on.
go on and on. Been surprisingly quiet today.
No, I mean it was just fun stuff during that time, but I forgot where I was going.
What
with
you been
this.
doing fun this last year?
But that's what I was talking about. Is we started doing a show, blah blah blah. But I forgot where I was going
Anyway.
with this.
Well, all you
your
think about.
photography's been kind of picking
Oh,
up.
I mean, honestly, yeah. So we did the 4 months of just constantly working, so we couldn't really do anything.
Couldn't even-
Cons were closed down. Obviously, we also had to start wearing masks for everything.
Yeah, no cosplaying.
Like everything was being canceled. Everything was closed. We're the only stores that were open, and it was a madhouse. Like it literally, I run the wall at our place, and it was just barren people thinking
to
the
watch
end of
from-
days.
What did you do fun this year?
Oh, I'm starting at the beginning. You said, how did you start this thing? This is how I started.
Oh, just
But as Mike just said, we all have our own little side hobbies that we wanted to get into, and actually it didn't really start kicking until the end. With everything lining up. I've gotten more into my photography. You can find me at NGF AR Photography on Instagram. I've been going to more events lately, trying to shoot more people and stuff like that. Film-wise, not physically shooting people.
Hey, photography's taking off.
Yeah, I'm getting a little rusty, so it was good to get back into it and start getting back in the swing. I mean,
cons were mainly where you were kind of like honing
your
skill.
I didn't get back into. I was never huge in photography. I love photography, but I didn't really get into it till about 2018 because that's when I met Jen.
Mm-hmm. One of our cosplay friends, Jennifer.
But we started going to the Palm Springs Comic Cons when they added that here in the Valley.
Where I almost died in a heat stroke. As Deathstroke.
And we had those 3 years of relatively enjoyment.
First year was
the
great.
First year was alright. You guys didn't attend the whole thing. I attended the whole thing on that one. And it was small. Second one was awesome, but it was overly policed.
Oh yeah, we couldn't. That's when they couldn't let us.
We have episodes dedicated to.
Yeah, we talked about it. Just listen to old episodes about it.
And the third one is when they switched.
And the third one was at the
oven.
Air Museum.
No, sorry. If you're hearing that in the background.
If you're hearing a car alarm, that better not be my car alarm.
No.
Okay, thank God.
No, I'm glad. There's a car here that literally, like, the person will just let it go off until it just naturally goes off by itself. Yeah, the third one was at the Air Museum. But that's neither here or there. That's how I originally got back into doing photography work.
But you took great photos of my kids. I think you did it twice already.
That was this year. That's kind of what I did with my spare time when I could fit someone in. You were one of those moments where I was able to finally go out there and just do some stuff. That was fun.
Yeah.
And your kids were great, so some kids could be very different.
Yeah. They're alright.
But yeah, I mean, I went to my first giant expo, which is the Anime Expo. And I was literally gonna back out like at the last second. I was gonna be like, I don't even know you that well, and 4 days with strangers. But I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I got the time off. I went, and I ended up having one of the greatest times, even better than the second time. Although it was fun having you there, but you couldn't even go the whole time.
I know that was a horrible.
That was the 2019 one. I still got all my badges over there. I got all my badges to all the cons we've gone to.
I got mine hanging on right behind me too.
It was fun. It got me to really open up on photography work. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys all started doing your little side projects too.
Mine has just been contemplating my side projects. Like, honestly, I mean, we got video now, and that's because I bought
here. This is exactly.
I bought a camera, but this is really just for me, kind of honing that aspect because I want to start doing my short films this coming year, and Will and I have a prospective short film that we want to try to accomplish sometime in the near future, hopefully.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Going straight to YouTube.
Yeah, going straight to YouTube. So you know, we're gonna try to do that. I want to start expanding into short filmmaking because that's my passion is filmmaking. I want to be a writer / director. I want to be, you know, I want to do all that. So, you know,
wants to be behind the camera, not
behind. Yeah, I'm very uncomfortable in front of the camera. So behind the camera is definitely more of my thing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Definitely more of my comfort zone. So that's where what my whole year has been is like when I have the time I try to write and I try to think of what I want to do. I've been practicing my editing a little bit by going out of my comfort zone and being in front of the camera. So hopefully we can arrange things with like-minded people, as things slowly start opening back up and people are safe to do stuff, you know, we'll start shooting stuff soon. And,
yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So NGF Productions.
I was gonna say this is the biggest hurdle you got to get past is stuff like this. Right now we're being filmed.
Yeah. And
right now you guys are speaking normal because you guys are naturally good at just talking into mics. Cause you guys have been doing a good job ignoring the camera.
Yeah.
Because we're talking to each other, so we have something to play off of. So
our conversation.
So,
but the eavesdropper.
Some people have strengths where they need that banter, someone to be across from them talking.
I'm definitely not comfortable talking to the camera by myself. That's why.
Me either, sir.
I remember.
You have to. It's fun to have a camera on this one because you have to start talking to the camera as if you're talking to somebody. So right now I can get used to it. I'm talking to you guys, and we're just gonna be discussing on like the ins and outs of what we're gonna be doing for recordings. Will's thing was pretty funny. If you ever want to watch something kind of fun, watch the lightsaber one. Or the Godzilla.
No, the Godzilla one.
His Godzilla thing on YouTube.
It's still on
It's still on there. It is cutaways. We keep cutting back.
I don't know why.
To actual, is it photos and
it's
that diagrams?
Photos and just me going like this.
You can hear him talking because right now you listen to Will right now and he's just speaking
very comfortably.
Very comfortable. He's in his environment. He's playing off of everybody here. But how was it? I was like, Godzilla was something that, and you see him looking down. It's like the height of Godzilla would be something like blah blah
still,
blah.
It's one of our
very
most popular
stoic.
videos.
It is. Yeah.
It is
People
one of
love
your-
Godzilla.
It is one of your most viewed. But the reason it's funny is you can hear.
Brought it up because of the Godzilla versus Kong.
Probably. But you can hear where you're doing very well.
Yeah, I can just redo the
But
whole
you can
thing,
tell
yeah.
you're totally reading off of something, and it doesn't help that when it cuts back to you randomly.
Oh,
you're
just me
looking
looking at the
straight down
paper, yeah.
into your phone.
So that's why I've been toying around with the idea of doing video essays.
Maybe that's why it's
similar
doing so
to-
well.
It's funny, yeah.
Because Will's actual, when we did the Godzilla Nerd Logic was that was at a time when I thought people would prefer more visual stuff, like seeing the people that are talking. But then as video essays started becoming more and more popular over the past few years, I realized that I was wrong. So they could care less if they see your face as long as they can hear you.
Yeah, it's
and
entertaining.
They can connect
Yeah.
with your voice, basically.
It's fun to cut back
Yeah.
if you have a bubbly personality where you can come like blah 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 blah. But it's really about the comfort of your voice and how you can sound, and you can change up your voice. Like some people are very comfortable on their regular voice range, or some people change it up so it sounds more like, like a storytelling element or something like that. You put a little bit more at comfort. You lower your voice. You raise it up a little bit. You change the octave of it because you want it to be it's either soothing or comfortable to the ears. You don't want someone to be like, "Hey, how's it going? This is about Godzilla." You're just like, "Oh, dude, I don't want to do
Or
that."
if you have access to an animator, do what History Buff does and just do an animated. History Buffs do what he does and do an animated version
Which
of
is great.
himself.
I love.
Yeah.
Did I introduce you to that?
You did.
Okay.
Yeah, Adrian introduced me to History Buff.
I thought about doing stuff like that with just cartoon stills.
Yeah.
Well, what's
Like
great
when I
about it is it cuts back to him every so often, but it's usually at a moment when he's either joshing at a part of the video or just totally hating on something or just having a good laugh on something.
Yeah.
Something that would inherit a reaction.
And I think did I do the lightsaber one the same way, or did I keep it mostly just your voice? I think I just kept. I filmed your intro and your outro, and I think I kept everything else.
Yeah, that one was a lot better.
Yeah. Which is funny that it's not the most viewed one.
Yeah.
The Godzilla one.
See, I was looking for my tea. I had a tea.
It's right there. It's right.
Is it on there?
Yeah.
But anyway, what did I do this year?
My voice is going away. That's why.
Pretty much myself. I just was so busy because I had a second kid.
Mm-hmm.
But busy with work. But I got God, what did I get into? A lot of memes. I made a lot of memes.
Yes, we need. Getting back into Pokemon.
Well, yeah, I just started Pokemon.
Did you try any? Even though there was no conventions, did you try to build any cosplays or anything? Or
no, I made actually I did Berserk's Guts' sword. Like I made one of those.
And the hand thing too, right?
Yeah, I
And
made his robotic hand. I made that because I wanted to, because I didn't realize it was gonna be this long. 4 months in, I'm like, I want to go make some cosplay now because I had some time off. So I made that. So I did a little cosplay. I just focused on my family, like not a whole lot. A lot of video games, I know that, which I have a whole stack of stuff I want to make little short videos, little 8-bit reviews and stuff, really fast, probably like 3-4 minute reviews. Because I've been jumping from video game right now, especially throughout a whole year. But yeah, not a whole lot, man. Just a lot of work and family, kids.
Well, obviously this is our first show in over a year plus, and
I don't remember.
recently was the first time all three of us hung out together.
Yeah, when we.
It wasn't for the movie.
It
was before the movie. We just hung out.
Yeah.
Me and you, we went to, we just hung out. I haven't seen Mike before.
All three of us, yeah, we went to the mall, the park.
I spent time with both of you guys separately at least a few times.
Yeah.
But only about, I want to say about a month ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was writing in this book and I went to go have a burger.
Yeah.
Or actually, I didn't have a burger, I had a milkshake. But that was the first time we actually, all three of us were together again. And so that's why we wanted to start putting, we finally just set a day where we're like, we need to record something because we're finally...
Yeah,
getting
everything.
our
We got our shots. We don't need masks talking. I'm allowed in someone else's house.
Coming my way.
I mean, we're safe enough right now. We're 2.5 shots in, or 4.5 shots in. Like me and
I don't have to worry about.
I'll get my card.
Yeah, get my daughter sick and she can't go back to school anymore.
Yeah.
I'll get my cards in, and with conventions coming back around,
Yes, a new convention. I'm so
which
happy.
is kind of like, I did want to pose that question to you guys. Like, when the convention circuits slowly start opening up, do you guys want to try it out?
I am.
The closest one is in July, I believe, at Fairplex.
I think July's too soon.
Well, I gotta see how nice it is.
Yeah.
It was
I don't
the
wanna go-
Fairplex one we went to. Remember, it's that hangar. It's over in Pomona.
Oh,
I didn't go
that
to-
was
I didn't go to that
fun.
one.
Yeah, it was fun. It was cramped, but not that crazy. It was like going to.
Screw it, I'll do Sub-Zero. Oh, I can wear a
Yeah,
mask.
they're very much. That's going to be Strider.
I mean, yeah, this
From
is
the-
summertime, but this is over in Ramona or Pomona, so it should be a lot cooler than here in the valley.
I'm just curious how it is about that. But no, November. That's gonna be damn sure guaranteed. I might do a full on armor for guts
When
by then.
in November.
When?
That's our busiest time.
Who's?
Ours
Company.
We're a grocery store. Thanksgiving time.
That's why I said when.
Oh, I forgot Thanksgiving.
Wow, so I was like, when in November?
Because I heard
I know that the
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con's like on Thanksgiving.
on Thanksgiving week. I'm like, thank you.
I think they did that so that they wouldn't have a huge audience.
Mhm.
Like only the diehard.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck you, family. I'm gonna go.
I
I'm
didn't,
gonna go
want,
stand in line with 30 other people I don't know.
I didn't want your stuff in anyway, Grandma.
That's kind of year it goes now.
I mean, anything we can agree on to go to is I'll be happy to go to. I don't care if it's a big one or a small one.
I totally forgot about November.
Just not the one at like the
You
casino.
just broke my heart, sir.
Sorry. Just
Well, we'll find out. It's months
hitting
away.
you with some hot realism
It might be on
right
November
across
2nd.
the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll be like the first week of November, first or second week, you know, when but then I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, because they don't want to have two with Comic-Con and that in the same weekend.
Yeah.
That'd be stupid.
That's how our 2020 went.
Yeah, that's pretty much our 2020 year.
It went. But
I saw a couple movies when we had that brief window of time when
Covered in
theaters
space
were
with
opened up.
Nicolas Cage.
No, that one only came out streaming. I don't think it came out on.
Yeah, but I saw it this last year. It was pretty good.
Anyway, I saw Tenet and I saw New Mutants. And Tenet, I love Tenet because I love Christopher Nolan. I'm such a Christopher Nolan fanboy. He could literally shoot 2 hours of garbage running away, and I'll say it's the greatest piece of cinema that he's ever made in history.
I already had to watch this movie like 3 times.
But yeah, you do have to watch it a couple times to wrap your mind around it. And New Mutants.
I want to see that. I want to watch Redbox. I keep forgetting to get in Redbox. It's $1. It's worth $1 at least. $1 and 2 hours of my time.
The
While I
best
play
parts of
video
the
games.
movie were
in the trailer.
Ileana Rasputin was pretty good. Anya Taylor-Joy, she's crushing it now. She's like big now because of Queen's Gambit.
I know. I seen pictures of her. Like, damn, I seen her in Witch, and like Witch was really good.
Yeah, which was really good.
And I'm like, wow, she plays one of my favorite mutants, Magic.
Yeah, Ileana Rasputin.
Yeah, that's
It's
so
said
cool.
name.
Well, I didn't say Magic.
Well, you know what? I haven't finished Queen's Gambit, but she's great in that.
Yeah,
And
she's
it made me
good.
realize
She's weird
that-
too in real life. You seen some interviews with her?
Yeah, she's probably fit right in with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she speaks perfect Spanish, so she's already better than me,
I speak none.
and better than Adrian. But no, yeah. She grew up.
Baño.
She grew up in Argentina. I was reading her bio and I saw a.
One thing you said.
I saw an interview where she spoke Spanish. I'm like, oh my god, she speaks perfect
Quick
fluency.
Spanish?
That's the one that made me crack up. We were going to a con, the Spanish thing. You said something about a babysitter. And it had to do with your daughter and stuff when she was younger. And you were just like, well, they both speak about the same amount of English.
Oh yeah.
And I just could not stop laughing after that shit was good.
Just me being a jerk.
But it's kind of like that. I'm like, well, that's a whole nother story. In that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it is. I was going to reference back to what you said earlier, but now we've like 20 minutes past what we just talked about. So I'm like, how do I round back to that?
What?
Was getting more comfortable with voice work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all have to work on that. And I was going to originally put out a picture and be like, what would you guys like us to practice more on? Just by hearing us or seeing us now for the first time, what would you like to see us practice more on? Like, what do you picture us being more as, like, who's stronger in this? Or what would you like to see us try to get into? Whether it's voice work, being in front of the camera, seeing our talents behind the camera, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, who's strong in what type thing. Like, how, like, where would you put yourself?
It's
in
more
strong
handsome.
Who's more handsome? My dog. My dog.
Your dogs are not handsome.
The boy one.
Hey, leave your dog. Leave it, Adrian's
You
dog.
got a handsome dog.
Oh, yeah. She's got the little.
Doesn't matter. That's a beautiful dog.
No, but that's her sweet spot right there. That's where everybody gives her the. She has a broken paw, unfortunately, from childhood accident of hers, and it's always in an upright position.
It's all got to
but
that because of handsome.
Everybody
One
just
word.
loves her. Everybody
Handsome.
just loves her because of that. They feel so sorry for her.
Because
She
like,
has
why are
all
we
the
talking
treats
about
for
dogs?
Okay, let's go back. What were we, like 2 hours in?
We're about an hour in.
Hour in?
I was just talking about the voice work thing.
Yeah.
To just get more
Yeah,
comfortable.
Let us know.
But definitely let us know what kind of
Stuff to work on.
material
stuff
you
try.
want to see us
Yeah.
put out. If you want more podcast, if we should start shortening it up a little bit and maybe doing
Put some more videos
individual
out, yeah.
videos, like maybe like I want to bring NGF movie reviews back. I'm working on a Zack Snyder Justice League review right now. It's just I'm not a good editor.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the movie nights.
No, yeah, I need to do.
NGF movie nights too.
NGF movie nights.
That was really fun. But
That was
we
a
have
fun
now that we have the
practice.
camera.
Yeah.
Now that I have the camera, we can record ourselves watching. Not record the movie because copyright, but record ourselves watching the movie. At
You
least.
do the fair watch ones where you could cut, because you know how I listened back to the episode. There's a lot of dead air that we can just kind of cut out, and we can make the video a lot shorter. It doesn't have to be the entirety of the movie. It could just be watching the movie, and obviously.
So that's why we
segments.
could do an audio only version of it.
But it's we could do two versions of it, and depending on which ones you all like. Because if you listen to the Batman one, I looked at some of the comments and they're like, "Where's the movie? This kind of sucks." And I'm like, "We
People
just
are
said at the
stupid,
beginning,
that's why. People are
it's
stupid.
not the movie. It's just us. We recorded
Yes,
ourselves
They
watching."
literally
Because we
listen to
own
the first
Batman.
5 minutes of the movie. They don't understand why we didn't put the movie.
Because the
up
video,
on
if you do
YouTube.
look it up, it's NGF movie nights. And we watched our first one ever. It was the 1980s,
1989 Batman.
1989
Batman.
Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, and it
Billy
was a fun
Dee
watch.
Williams.
We were really tired though,
Yes.
because it was late, but we
Yes.
watched the whole entirety and we recorded ourselves, and it was actually really fun. And I had
That
some
was a
people
fun,
say, it's pretty funny on parts, and they actually referenced like things we were saying.
I honestly think I was falling asleep at most of that.
You
part.
did
You
fall
were.
asleep
Yeah.
at the 3/4 mark.
Yeah, but that's because I worked like at 5 a.m.
They kept nudging you.
I drank a Rockstar and that didn't work.
But yeah, let us know what you want to see us try doing again. But
Yeah, I'm gonna start like I said, 8-bit reviews, like 3-4 minute quick reviews of video games, with maybe some movie reviews like with Mike.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, you gotta really get in there. Obviously,
Yeah.
for the ones you didn't care about, you can shorten those ones up.
Yeah.
But if you like something, don't give yourself any.
Yeah, so maybe
I'm pretty sure I'll just keep going, but yeah, just short little videos. I don't want to do like 25-minute reviews.
maybe after this we could do a separate Kong vs. Godzilla review because we're gonna review it on the podcast, but I want to do one that we can put up individually on the YouTube channel. So if you want to maybe like real quick record a quick
Cool.
Kong,
review.
Godzilla.
But
Sorry, just reacting how you're gonna do it.
so let us know on Facebook and Instagram or stuff like that.
Maybe you ever listen to this.
Maybe I'll develop. Maybe I'll
I'll
share
poll.
the.
I'll put lots of polls up.
Maybe I'll share the link to, or I'll share the NGF
Just do
email,
gaming ones and
the
movie
official
ones.
one.
Look at all those movies right there in that pile, man. We could watch so much stuff to the end of time right there.
I think NGF movie night should come back too.
Yeah, that'd be
that was a
fun.
fun one. Now that we have the camera.
I'll put it up today before I go to bed. I'll put up ones for NGF movie nights, like versus ones. You guys just throw me a bunch of titles.
Mhm.
We gotta do which one. Put them all up there.
Avatar.
I'm okay.
Actually, it's
The
the
blue
Last
ones?
Airbender. That's
Okay.
the movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
So,
what were we
we're-
jumping to next? Cause
Next would be Godzilla vs. Kong, which was
The movie.
amazing.
That was good.
amazing.
Yeah. Me. Okay.
You guys didn't have much fun as I did. I was loving. I was at the end
we're
of my
gonna add an
chair.
So
extra
the-
40 minutes to this episode right now.
the MonsterVerse movies are a very particular set of movies where they have such a
particular set of skills.
mixed bag of reviews because you have the critics who will tear the movies to shred because the human aspects, and then you have the fans who are fans of the original, Toho films who love them because they honor the
They do
Toho
a
legacy.
really good job on her. And I don't know these critics think like, oh, it's just gonna be this Godzilla walking around with pop-up bubbles,
yeah.
so you know what he's talking about.
I feel. Blue.
Yeah.
Godzilla was made in 1999. No, yeah, I feel like it's going to be an uphill battle no matter what.
Mm.
It's one of those franchises that it's like Star Trek to Star Wars to the 007 movies. It's anything that's been going on for multiple decades.
Longest running
Is
series.
you're
Yeah.
never gonna please everybody.
Fuck them. We don't need them.
Well, I'm just saying, and that's the reaction you're gonna have from some of the people, and then other people are gonna be like, so it's just like you're never gonna please everybody. You gotta hit that nice niche where you're gonna be like, look, we're gonna give you what you want, whether you like it or not.
And they
it
give
is
us
up to
exactly
you.
what they want in this movie. We got King Kong vs. Godzilla 3 times.
Yeah.
I think we're not gonna label.
I mean, it's been
or what
out
is it?
long enough. It's on HBO
Not-
Max now
We're
too. We can
not
spoil it.
label. What is it?
Oh,
Rate.
I think spoil it. Yeah.
We're not gonna rate this individual movie right now, but how I rated it on our ride home. Remember when I said how I would watch the movies and how I would
rank
rate
it.
them? Rank the
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Not rated because we
And
are
I-
gonna give it a rating.
And I said, yeah, Godzilla and Kong. Like this is right after you watched it. I was like, I actually prefer King of the Monsters more.
Yes.
I didn't say this one was
Amazing
bad
movie.
because you assumed that I was saying this one was bad. I'm like, no, I just really preferred King of the Monsters. It flowed better, I felt. Even though some people say it didn't flow well, I'm like, I thought it flowed all right.
Well,
Even with the
more
human
fun-
aspect of what they did with that, they were going towards something at least. The only thing I've had a problem with Kong versus or King, the guys fighting,
Godzilla versus Kong.
was I won't jump on that bandwagon and be like the human element sucked. I just felt that they really had no use.
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't. If they had purpose more, or if they focused mainly on just one, it would have made more sense, I guess.
Yeah, you didn't need that.
It's the one time I would say they should have taken more time on the human element. Not like added more time on them on screen, but like maybe thought out more. And like there was too much going on that it just became white noise. Like almost the equivalent of the first Godzilla movie, where it's like, stop cutting away when this stuff's about to happen. Even though we got the action,
That was
like
weird. That they
we
did
had
that.
some amazing action sequences in the movie. But after they were done, you're like, oh, here comes the filler part. Here comes.
That's why I
stuff
think
where
yeah,
you just
King of the
gotta-
Monsters was a perfect balance. It had the
Like-
first one had barely any monsters in it. The second one had a lot of monsters, but the characters didn't know what to do with.
Yeah.
That's why they were just running around.
But they were at least fighting, so you had the military aspect of it. It made
Yeah.
sense for them to be there. Everybody in this one, it didn't make sense for some of them to be there. Like,
Mainly,
who was there sometimes?
mainly of which like the Millie Bobby Brown's part of the story.
I'm sorry, they could have taken that out and nothing would have changed.
Brian Tyree Henry, I think his name is, from Atlanta, the conspiracy podcaster.
Yeah.
Like I know Will loved that guy because he was
Oh my
like
God.
every
They
conspiracy
talked about-
podcast he ever listens to.
I'm all about conspiracies. I forgot more about the paranormal that people will know. They brought up a lot of stuff that they talk about that they need to plant so the real like people would like actually calm down to it when like stuff. I love it, but all kinds of stuff.
I get that idea, but I felt like it had no use in this part of the movie. Like it was just
It was there for comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
they were
was
comedy.
no reason for it to be part of his, other than his what do they call it? Other than his
His
cork.
flask.
Yeah,
Well, I was gonna
that's
say
the word
his
for
cork.
his first cork.
Kind of like, you know, if you guys ever watch The Predator, all the characters had quirks. It was kind of
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
we have to give him quirk.
We don't know how to
Oh,
write for
here.
characters.
Oh.
We make them do this
He's
stuff.
a podcast person. He's a conspiracy theorist podcast person. You're like, that'll hit people. And I'm just kind of like, okay.
It's
Yeah.
like when at the beginning of
He's just so
Ben and
socially
Certain Man,
awkward.
we're like, it's for my podcast.
Mhm.
Every time
Yeah.
you say that, it's like everyone goes, ha
No,
ha ha.
that was Joss Whedon's Justice League.
But,
Excuse me, sir.
I don't know. It's just like
Well, a
the movie was
podcast.
great, but actually I felt like it was more gravitating towards Kong. So I feel like
Tom was the
it's
yeah, he was
almost
the main
like the
star,
Batman
yeah.
versus Superman to Justice League thing, where it's like I feel like they should have had one more movie before this one, and they should just made a Kong movie
That would have been
about
cool.
him going into the Hollow Earth. Because I felt like they were trying to cater to that being like it's a Godzilla versus Kong, but it's really more of a Kong movie when you break it down.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Godzilla's there, and he's just there to whoop ass, and then be like, "All right, I'm gonna go tap out and get a coffee." You guys
Did
want?
you guys notice that Godzilla laughed?
I don't
when
know
he
if that's a
was
cut
fighting
together.
Kong?
I don't know if that's a cut together video or if that because I feel like I would
I've
have noticed
not
that.
seen Godzilla. I was paying attention
I
too.
feel like someone made that one. If it's real,
Maybe
I gotta go back and
he
watch.
did not laugh.
Yeah, he
Well, there's a
when-
part when he shoots Kong while he's in the air when he's blowing his fire breath and he hits him in the
Yeah,
back.
it hits him in the back and he goes
and he
like,
kind of
ah.
does the face, but I feel like someone put a laugh thing over there.
I don't know if they did. They did a really good job.
They must have done a
I
really good job.
do not remember. That would stick out. I feel like in the
Yeah,
theater.
that would I would have.
Where I would have been like, what? Why is he laughing? No, he doesn't. He doesn't laugh. He dances.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
but
didn't laugh.
he did. But Kong did talk. He learned sign language.
Yeah, that was
That
cool.
that was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get the whole point of the whole little death girl thing. I mean that's cute, but I do have a feeling that's
Well, they
I
need a
told-
reason to have like
um,
everyone's like, how are they gonna get him on the boat? How are we gonna do this? We're just gonna
ha-
cut away and like the girl did it.
As I'm watching the movie, I am sitting. This is the part where I guess a little bit of critic came out, where I'm just like taking my little thing. It's like if the movie was a piece of paper, this is me just poking holes and everything, going like.
Well, yeah, if you have it like you don't take the camera off them and you just
Like I'd be like, why is that person there? Why is this person? I want to probably
There's a
want
lot
this
of
person more,
questionable
you know?
editing in this.
Well, I heard that like yeah. What you told me
There's a
that
lot
they
of
cut
pieces
out
missing.
like tons of stuff. I knew they cut out the two twins,
Yeah.
the Mothra twins one. They cut out the dad a whole lot. Monarch was barely in it.
Yeah, apparently
You would forget that he was in it if you just.
Yeah.
If you're eating popcorn, you would miss his scenes.
one of the best character actors out there, Lance Reddick. He was in the John Wick movies. He played the concierge at the Continental. You know the bald dude.
You can say it. The black guy.
I never watched it. I haven't watched it in the John
Yeah, the
Wick.
bald black guy. Anyway,
I think he was the only one asking. Other than the podcast guy.
But anyway, he had a more significant role. Apparently, he was the director of Monarch, and there was supposed to be like this
Was he?
big, like that's how insignificant. That's how much they cut out of his storyline. Like there was supposed to be a big boardroom scene with him and
which is funny because I like his I like his actor. I like him as an actor. He's a good.
He's got
a really good presence.
Actor. Like that's like the biggest negative I can give that movie is they severely underused Lance Reddick. Like he's like.
Why they cut
So I want the Snyder cut of King Kong versus Godzilla because like they must have cut at least an hour out of this.
I mean that's funny because we're not even talking. I mean we're talking about the movie, but we're only talking about the. I don't want to say the dislikes, but like what we liked, but kind of like it's like a flowing thing of like oh my god. It was very
small dislike. It was just like basically what we talked about already.
Obviously we'll rate stuff and stuff like that, but let's talk about let's try to round this out. Let's talk about the beginning. Like, what did you think of the whole beginning of the movie? Like, showing Kong.
He's just relaxing and scratching his butt.
Chilling, and then you realize he's in a giant dome.
I'm surprised they started that way, but it makes perfect sense how they, something happened.
Or the fact that everyone on the island was wiped out.
Apparently. Well, because there was an earthquake.
Did the storm?
Everybody else. Oh, storm? Because have you seen,
Did the storm dissipate?
No, that's what was keeping.
That's why it's all stormy outside the dome, isn't it?
Yeah, that's when the helicopters tried to get in during the 70s. Like there would be an ongoing storm.
Yeah, and they're always in the eye of the storm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it must have
just engulfed the island.
Yeah, and it just took everything that's less than 40 feet tall, just killed them all.
And the little girl survived.
Well, Kong probably saved her. So
that, or like I'm sure mothers saved her and stuff. There weren't a lot of children, so.
Didn't really get explained too well, other than like
there's like 45 people, in that island.
I do like though that there was one. I think it was Jeremy Johns when he said like that this movie just is the movie that said like okay all the groundedness that we were trying to achieve in the first two movies or the first three movies, out the window. Yeah. We have literal magic now. We have like space technology.
My God. The time jump. That's what I was gonna reference. Jesus Christ! Like. I think that's what threw me off too. Like as I was watching the movie, I'm like, I remember watching the first Godzilla. And I'm like, this is all grounded in realism.
Yeah.
In a sense, obviously it's giant.
Now they have little hover cars that that are anti-gravity.
But yeah, all of a sudden, like the tunnels going from Japan to wherever they originally were.
China. Do you think they missed an opportunity? I wanted to bring this up real quick before we go. I might go off on a little bit of a tangent.
Well, the tunnels really fast are a conspiracy of their own that we have now. Yeah, technically, it's
the hollow rip theory.
Well, then again, but that's where
conspiracies, man. Okay, Mike, go on.
I knew nothing about this, so to me, I'm like,
yeah. Do you think they missed an opportunity to have the final battle be in Japan as a nod to Godzilla destroying Japan in original?
Unless they pointed it out and not cut it out of the movie, it wouldn't have made a difference.
I know, but they said Hong Kong, but I'm just like, it would have been cooler. I think it would have been a better little nod to the original franchise of Godzilla if they were in Japan.
I don't know. Like I said, like if they didn't cut it out and it stayed in the movie, they would have to point it out. But they put tons of nods in that last battle scene, especially the part where Mega Godzilla tries to pry Godzilla's mouth open. This is the finisher, like did in the Muto in the first one. Mm-hmm. And the way how they crammed King Kong crammed the axe in Godzilla's mouth like he did in the tons of nods. That's what I love about these movies. They know so much. Like they watch these movies. It's not like Avatar or The Last Airbender. It's like we didn't watch the last one.
When Kong and Godzilla are on screen, that's where all the
that's the best part. Yeah, that was amazing. Every time.
But you need some stuff in there, and that's where I think was the weakest part is the stuff that's supposed to fill in all the gaps.
It's like how it is if they want to go legitimately to how other Godzilla movies are since the 60s, that's exactly the same. As soon as you have people on screen, it's just like...
becomes a board fest.
Yeah, a bunch of 40-year-olds running around and driving.
That's what I was going to tell people, too. I'm like, for everyone that's saying, it's this is that, I'm like...
You watch the Godzilla movie?
Like, the original ones had the exact same thing. The only one that had fun but crazy, just crazy stuff where you're like, this is just batshit crazy, but at least it's entertaining. It's probably Godzilla Final Wars.
Oh my god, well, it's just
with the space aliens and the freaking souped up soldier.
Yeah, and Godzilla's just going around killing everyone and
Killzilla.
Yeah,
Godzilla's doing his stuff, but you cut back to these super soldiers and they're all doing crazy
Kung
stuff.
Fu, like Matrix
There's
style.
like no subtlety in that movie. It's just like it is just hold on to your seat and you just be like, all right, I'm just gonna loosen up my brain and sit back in this chair and watch some crazy shit for about 2 hours.
And I remember I shared that review with you guys of Godzilla King of the Monsters. the Angry Joe reviews. I don't know. You guys probably have seen Angry Joe on YouTube a lot. You know. You ever watch them?
Nope.
No, go ahead. I'm just saying.
Okay. You know, he was like very adamantly angry about the human element of the story, and I'm like, dude, it's Godzilla. Like,
Yeah,
if you ever watched the original Godzillas, the human element of the movies was never the best part of the movies.
Yeah.
It was always Godzilla.
Besides the
wrecking shop.
first one, the original that's not dubbed by the American stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Like
where they
all of them are just like exactly.
Like some stuff's interesting. Like I don't know if everyone's ever watched the black and white one, but
I've seen it.
That's-
But I've seen the American version.
that was
I've
at
seen
least
the original
interesting and.
documentaries.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like great, but it's like watching a good classic black and white. You got to remember that it's about the story too, and they did tell a story.
Yeah, they have good characters that made sense that engage with the monsters. But after that, the first one was all just 50-year-olds
not all
walking
were
around.
boring. Like some were boring, but not all were boring at least.
Godzilla versus
good
Gigan,
portion.
where they do talk about space travel and androids and stuff. That was interesting. That's a lot of people's favorites.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to Godzilla versus Gigan, where it's just like an animator who's trying to get with a girl, and then
There's some really weird ones.
Yeah.
Godzilla. I think the only one I really remember is Godzilla 2000, and even that one was kind of a weird like human story too.
Yeah,
It's good action sequences. It's
Yeah.
just
it's stuff you're just waiting for the Godzilla to come up.
a lot of boring human element parts.
I remember watching when they would put the Toho movies on Sci-Fi in the morning. They do like little marathons. I would watch I think I saw Mothra, a few Godzilla versus movies. I forgot which versus ones, but yeah, the human aspect was never the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
So everybody who always complains about the human aspect, just watch the original and just watch this and be like, okay, that is a lot better.
I'd say it's not the
Japanese
most
version.
important part, but
It's not the most important.
it's got to at least be.
I was
either-
laughing during these things.
It's either got to be slightly entertaining or giving you at least something. Something tangible to hold on to. Otherwise, it's just white noise.
Yeah, just
like,
talking and stuff. That's
Like,
probably
when
why
are
they
you
cut
getting
out
off
like
screen? When are you getting off
stuff with
screen?
Monarch.
Go back to Kong. Go back to Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little stuff with Kong was funny. Like I laughed a couple times at Kong and stuff when he's eating the fish and stuff, and he does that big stupid smile and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I felt Godzilla was underused. That's why I said I feel like it's more of a Kong movie. Because anytime
Oh, it's
Godzilla
definitely
showed
more of a
up,
Kong movie. That's
it
for
was
sure.
just a fight. It was
But
never,
it makes sense too because this is technically Kong's second movie in the MonsterVerse.
But that's why I said I felt like it should have just been a Kong movie about him going to Hollow Earth. Because it's like, let's go to Hollow Earth. We got here. Let's get to that place real quick. We found the axe. All right, let's go back up. And then you're done.
Godzilla put
So
into
much
that.
for Hollow Earth.
The one thing I didn't like about the movie, besides the ending and stuff like that,
I was gonna say, wait, go ahead.
is that the Titans are gone, and they kind of just
Everything took a back seat to.
but like they didn't explain anything. Like they were walking
at?
by, and they just like they showed a thing on the back where it says defeated. Like Godzilla defeated this, Kong defeated. Kong wouldn't defeat anyone. He didn't care. He was on his island.
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla wouldn't kill or defeat like any of the monsters that were bowing at his feet like 2 years ago. It would make no sense about like
No, they do they explain in the movie. It said that apparently Kong is an Alpha Titan, and there can't be two Alpha Titans. That's why.
I know that, but why would Godzilla kill Rodan?
I don't think he did. I think they were
'cause
just
they're not
trying
Alpha
to.
Titans.
Yeah, I think they
Why
were
would,
just.
why would
trying-
Godzilla kill him? They were bowing at his feet.
I don't think it
He
means
didn't kill
automatic death. I just mean it might be in defeat, as in like it's now bowing to them. You know.
That would make more sense, but they just
They didn't
did.
kill him. He didn't kill him.
I don't know what happened. It says defeated.
I don't
He just
think he
they're just doing their own thing wherever they want to do it, and they don't go into Godzilla's territory.
That's what I'm saying. It would have made more sense. Just throw that line out, not having a picture behind us saying defeated, defeated, defeated. Not even mentioning what's happening around the world with the rest of the Titans. You didn't need Rodan to step up. It was about Kong and Godzilla.
Rodan's not in the movie though.
No, like,
He's
I'm
talking
not-
about the whole intro when they kept showing all the pictures.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
remember
Yeah,
them
but they didn't show Rodan.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't
being
remember them
defeated.
showing.
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
On the back, there was a screen that said Rodan defeated.
maybe.
Well, maybe Rodan got some balls, and he's like, I'm gonna be the Titan.
None of
I'm
them
gonna be the
would.
Titan now, and then Godzilla killed him because
Well,
like,
again,
I'm
this
the
is the
Titan.
problem with the movies. They don't connect very well.
Yeah, they don't. That's the one thing I don't like about it. Like they didn't mention like it might have been its own movie about like we have Godzilla and King Kong because like they didn't mention anything about like
Think about it
Titans
this
and
way,
like where were they? Did they wrangle them back under Earth? Or were they all in like South Africa and just like I ain't dealing with that. They can deal with that.
Like, think of it this way: there is no actor yet so far that has been in all the movies.
You're right. Wait, no.
they're not connected in any other way. Because anyone that went into the second one, into King of the Monsters, that was from the first one, are all dead.
You're right.
Or they're just not in the movie.
The only ones
the dad came in for the second movie.
Oh, he
but
died. And you notice his son, the guy piloting.
Which they didn't really. They just said his name. They didn't.
I know, it's like, Jesus, why even have his name on there if you're not gonna like have any like good meaning behind it? It would have just been some dude. They cut too much out of it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
I actually thought going into when they showed him, like, oh, what if he? Can you imagine if he's an alien? Because I was on the same boat as you that Mechagodzilla was going to show up.
Oh, of course he's going to show up. That was for sure.
Wouldn't it have been funny if they
Once
put
they
that
said
little reference that
versus.
he was an alien to the nod of the original?
That would have came out of left field, yeah.
Like, well, because they said that Ghidorah was an alien in King of the Monsters, so it would have been interesting if they stayed on that train of.
I heard a lot of people on the internet said like a lot of weird theories. One of them was aliens, yeah.
What do you guys think of the Mechagodzilla by the end? That's just kind
of. He looked cool. I didn't like his
hands.
His hands. He had those like claw machine hands. But he looked pretty cool. The one thing I didn't like about it, I did like him cool, his laser beam, his all stuff.
I thought he looked too symmetrical.
Yeah, that's usually the problem with Mechagodzilla. Because
I mean, yeah, you can look at the classic movie like that, but he didn't look like Godzilla. Like, it was really hard to see.
Besides the tail,
he looked certain ways.
Yeah, and the spikes on his back, he just looked like an uphill monster,
like a Lego monster.
Yeah, but what's it called? I see another designs. Where was I going with that? I didn't like the fact that when the guy who was controlling him died. And it lost control. It wasn't destroying buildings or anything. It was just going straight after Godzilla. Was it piloted by the heart of King Ghidorah, like they said?
That's the running
Monster
theory.
Zero.
That's the theory, though. None of this stuff was explained. And you know what? We're not going to get another one either. I don't think
we're probably getting another one. It's doing pretty good right now.
It's doing amazing. It's bringing movie theaters back. Everyone loves this movie,
and it did pretty good on HBO Max too.
Not
as good as I think they said it did better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
It's like matters. Yeah, it's right there because everyone loves this movie.
So I think they'll probably give it one more go, and then if that one doesn't do well, then.
What do you think of the whole turnaround thing? I honestly thought they were actually gonna go the other route and do the whole Mecha Zero, the Monster Zero with the live head and the two robot heads.
Oh no!
I thought that's where they were going originally, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. But then I was like, oh no, they're using the skull.
Yeah, I knew they were going to use the skull to power it, which they kind of talked about with that Godzilla's first attack on the mainland, where he went to find that thing that the podcaster was seeing.
Yeah.
And then he was kind of
once I saw that, I was like, oh, it's
driving it
sure.
Gypsy Daisy style. And the second attack, where he lost control, which didn't really make any sense. Well, I guess in the fact that like he was using the skull to channel it.
What do you guys think of the whole like, we've got the signal, we can use power now? I was like, he's saying it through the internet? How'd you guys get the power source?
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest plot holes in the
I was like, wait, you guys just needed the frequency or what? I don't understand how that works. I'm like, how'd you get the power?
I think what they were implying is that their technology is so advanced that they can literally
siphon power.
They can recreate the energy by reading the signal from the internet.
Yeah, that was
so sensible.
More stuff cut out they should have left in.
Yes.
This movie would have made more sense if it was like 20 years in the future.
I'm sorry, but better written. Yeah. Like,
5 years later.
They had so many good nods to like you. Obviously, the person the many people who wrote this watched the old Godzilla movies. Like, someone must have just like, nope, we don't need this. We'll cut out 2 minutes. This explains the movie. No, we don't need that. We need to cut this 2 minutes out. Snap.
Yeah, you had someone they're just dicing away, going like, we need to make people are gonna love this. People are gonna love. Trust me. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Let me tell my story.
But this explains the movie. This explains the whole like first act. We cut it out.
If you have 15 minutes of this
we
dialogue.
more monster fighting.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was
So do we
good.
like this movie?
The fights were
I
awesome.
love this movie. I loved it. It wasn't
fights?
good as the last one.
Yeah.
King of the Monsters was amazing. That was a perfect, like, monsters, human, and story element. This one, it was when they were on screen, I was literally on the edge of I had you hold the popcorn because I was just like, go get him, Godzilla! Like,
you like this movie way more than I did. Yeah.
Oh my god, I was so happy when they were punching each other. I just wanted to go like, yeah. Godzilla was indestructible, and he kept. I watched the trailer. The thing with me is I can't watch trailers anymore because I can tell you the entire movie, up and down, which I did. I told everyone about the stuff how it's gonna go, And it was cool because the one thing they didn't do, which everyone kept saying is I was thinking about it, is Godzilla's gills were going to be a sign of weakness, and King Kong was going to find that out, and the third act pin him down. No, Godzilla was like, bam! Like, I could have killed you 10 minutes ago. Like, submit, fool! Mm-hmm. And just kind of steps on his chest.
Yeah, I was going to say, what did you think of that? The whole thing. I had some people asking me at work all day long going like, no, Kong's going to just beat him. He's faster. He's this. I'm like, I don't think so. I was going to say... Well, because I said for how they made these particular movies, these newer ones, not the classic ones, but even jump back in the classic ones, how they, I don't want to say wrote, but how they designed Godzilla and they showed how powerful he was, even in King of the Monsters, they showed how powerful he is by the end. How could you put Kong up against that and say Kong's going to win? I'd be like, they'd have to give him some kind of trump card, the axe or something like that.
Yeah, the axe.
Because let's put it this way, if he never got the axe, it's a no contest.
Yeah, that's the whole joke in the original one, which I'm not going to talk about how he got lightning powers.
Yeah, he just got randomly struck by lightning. That's how he got to it. But it's just like, that's what I'm saying.
You need to have some, and like Godzilla's allergic. The original one was fine, but you got to have something to show like you can give Kong a chance. But when he had the axe, and it was cool, everyone was like, oh, he's going to like chop his head off or something like that. No, Kong still lost. Yeah. And it was still amazing to show the power of
Well, then I tell you, like, even as the fight went on, I'm like, I think I leaned into you and I was like, watch, because I was going to shoot the axe with his fire breath. And...
Oh, that was in the trailer.
Yeah.
No.
I meant when he was fighting Mecha.
Oh, of course. When
I said, watch, because he was going to reach for the axe and Godzilla's just going to power it up. And
of course, you know.
I was just like, it's so predictable at that point.
Yeah.
But I feel like they just give each other that little mutual respect. Like, Kong's like, he's like, he has the axe up, like, we're going to go again, and Godzilla's just like, looking at him like, really? And he just puts the axe down. It's like, okay, we good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was just like all like power play and stuff. And he's like, you're like, he's talking like the whole movie was cool. It's like, I'm not looking for you, monkey. Like, I'm looking for this thing that I can tell that's gonna be trouble for me. And King Kong keeps they keep throwing King Kong.
They didn't reference it, but I guess he felt the signature of Zero.
Yeah, it was Monster Zero because they're using the power and stuff. That's why he's like, where is it? Where is it? Get out of my way, monkey! Like, where is it?
Mm-hmm. I do like that. Yeah, he just totally their fist fight's pretty cool, and I like how some people are like, he won the second round. I'm like,
he didn't win any.
I'm like, he put him down for a moment. Well, I was gonna say he put him down for a minute. But when Godzilla got back up and just like, all right, and like cracked his knuckles, was like, I'm gonna put you on the ground.
Godzilla discolated his shoulder.
He pulled axe.
No, that was the third. That was the third fight.
But they were. It's technically part of the last fight.
Oh yeah. So the way I see it is like the first fight in the ocean. That was the clear Godzilla win. When the second
drowning him. I love that he's drowning him underwater. He got his tail wrapped around his neck. And he's going down. Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, like hands down, Godzilla pretty much won that whole thing. It's versus and
yeah, even
you can always tell when they title it that way. Like whoever's name comes first is usually the one
that was clever.
Probably lose.
No, it isn't like Freddy vs. Jason or the original stuff where it's later. Oh God,
I do like the fact. I mean, some people probably say, "Oh yeah, I like Kong." And I'm like, "That's great and all," but yeah, there's a clear winner.
Yeah, that is what the director said. He said before this movie in interviews, he's like, "There will be a definitive winner."
Yeah, I love that.
It's not going to be like it's not going to be even. I think he even referenced Batman v Superman. He's like, "There's not going to be a Martha situation."
Oh my God! Yeah.
What did it say that meme was like?
Save Mothra!
Save Mothra! Why did you say that name?
I didn't see that one.
Godzilla saying that.
Oh my God, that's funny. But no, it was good. I'm sorry. It's a good movie. Just the ending, like I said, where after he defeats Godzilla, he does the predictable axe, finish him. It does.
It's kind of like a hammy to Kong winning the final.
Yeah, then that's part what gives it a negative is they go from we're safe, and Godzilla's like, I'm still here, and we're like, oh God, and then it goes from jump cut to Godzilla going to the ocean, Kong dropping the axe, like, okay, like,
you're talking about the speed run to the end of the movie? It's
my God, it's like, okay, so he goes, okay, like, I'm dropping the axe, like, now you give up? Yeah, now you give up? And then it goes from jump cut, Godzilla in the ocean, jump cut, Kong in the earth, jump cut, credits, get out. Nothing, no mid-credits,
Talk about a speed run. Like, if you literally, leaned in and then we had a conversation and we're just like, what'd you think about that, blah, blah, and then we glance back and we're like,
credits.
Oh, shit, what happened, you know? What did we miss?
Okay, you've been here long enough, people. Get out. Go home.
Seriously, that was like the. I mean, I've seen some movies that have abruptly ended, but that one just like.
Yeah,
What
it was
movie
big,
were they,
boom, boom.
where they cut the sound off in like the last 30 seconds of the movie and they turned the lights on? They ended up giving us like a free pass.
No, they didn't cut the sound. That the lights came on the last 15 minutes. It was at the end of the movie though.
Was
What
it
was
Logan? I think it was Logan.
Yeah, it was Logan.
Yeah, it was Logan. They came in and like,
Wait.
we're so sorry. I don't know why these came on. They gave us like a free movie
Was
pass.
it Logan?
I got one worse.
It was
It was Logan. It was Logan.
It was
I
so-
saw one movie. It was
People were pissed too.
I got a worse one. It was
Because you were like literally crying and it's like
It's at the
lights are
sound,
on.
yeah.
What? No.
Lights.
I don't want people to see me cry.
That's right. We all got free.
What's it called?
Free movie tickets.
The Haunting of Something. I saw it. It was one of those back in those like handhold camera things. It was literally like
Handheld camera?
you know, everyone like
The found footage.
found footage movies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Okay,
went.
okay,
Me and
sorry.
my wife saw it, and we're literally watching the movie, and the people go up the stairs, and the ghost is chasing them. They get into a car. They get into a car accident. The car flips, and
Oh, I
it's
know what
literally
movie you're
to
talking
finish
about.
this movie. Go to our website.
I remember that one.
That one's
yeah.
actually on a lot.
Oh
of,
my god!
That
That's
got
the number
such
one.
Flack for that.
That's
And
the
my
number
wife
one on
went
a
to
lot of
watch the
lists.
website,
Yeah.
and it's like they don't even show the rest of the movie. It just
Like
talks
to
about
learn
what
more
happened.
about this movie, go to www.findthetruths or something like that.
Yeah, and it was they
Like-
just
Which is funny because I was watching
didn't
segments
finish
on that,
it.
and some people were saying there was good elements of that movie, but then they're like that just totally killed any
there's
favorite.
anything in the trailers. That was the whole movie.
Yeah,
Oh my god! But
I
yeah,
remember that movie. I remember.
that was bad.
I never saw it, but.
But you were saying that what people asked for. I know that faced a lot of backlash for that, and some people were asking for like refunds.
Refunds,
and
yeah.
stuff.
I know they had it. I remember they locked the they made us exit the exit. You know, like the out into the parking lot, not through the theater again, because they're sick of giving out free passes. So like, you go out this door now because we ain't dealing with it.
Oh no, that would have said something. I would have been like, I'm staying there.
I didn't. I was
I
ready
would
to
have
go
just
home.
sat there and been
So
like,
off track right now.
But yeah, so King Kong vs Godzilla. The ending was that was the only
well,
part.
that's
I
what
liked
got
about
us onto it.
I know.
It's just
The ending.
such an abrupt ending. I
it.
played
Yeah,
games
just
like
boom,
that,
boom, boom. Nothing mid credits.
Good
No
out.
talking about future movies, which I don't even know if they're gonna do. Mike, you say maybe?
I think they'll probably give
They-
one more movie a shot.
That's what I'm saying. They made like so much money. They brought back the movie theater environment.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Not
any.
fully,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
but,
gonna say.
A
I
lot
think,
better than what's that movie you saw?
Tenet because not every single
That
theater
wasn't
market
open
was
yet.
open yet. LA and New York weren't open.
He
when
wanted
Tenet
to do
came
it. That was
I
the
don't
whole
know.
point. This
I-
brought it back.
I
We
wanna
got
say-
all of us 1, 2, 3 into theaters.
This was
Well,
the. Well, this
obviously,
was one of the big, flashy action style movies. Pretty sure if they would have put Justice League in there, it was way too long. The Snyder cut one, that probably would have done really well.
That's too bad. It went perfect timing too
Mhm.
for King Kong
That's
vs
like, I
Godzilla.
hear that's ass numbing long though. I mean, right now, this show right now,
They would lose
already
half the
like,
views
oh.
because it would be so long.
Mortal Kombat's the next one, so we'll see.
Yeah,
how
so
Mortal
we're
Kombat
gonna
does in
we're gonna
theaters.
be interested in watching that one. That was one of our things I was gonna talk about. That's the one you put for 25 years. You know, I think
yeah.
Mortal Kombat's on 30.
We can talk that next. We'll finish with this one right now. It was a good movie. Not perfect, but I did give this movie
You
one and a
did.
half.
1.5.
Sorry, 9.
Times never change.
No.
He still gives us a fucking
No, that's
whacked out.
9 out
rating.
of 10 gorilla butt scratches, which it wasn't perfect like the stuff I talked
Dude,
about.
butt
Stuff
scratch,
mutos they didn't mention. They kind of glanced over.
Huh?
They glanced over the mutos, which I didn't like,
Mhm.
and the ending, which is like boom, boom, boom. Okay,
Let me hear
that's
you
it.
say, "Ayo, ayo."
4 movies in,
That's
we
a
get a new
boom,
one,
boom,
maybe. I
boom.
don't know. But yeah, 9.5 monkey butt scratches. What about you guys?
I give it 6 Kong Stormbreakers out of 10.
So low, man. So low.
We live in a 10 or more society. Just because I give it a 6 doesn't mean I'm giving it a 1.
It's the problem with rating system with numbers.
Like if it's not a 10, you hated it. If it's not, if
Rating
it's a
systems
1,
are difficult
no,
because
if it's a 10, if it's not a 10, you didn't love it. If it's not a 1, you didn't hate it.
I know.
What? You didn't love it, you didn't hate it.
I don't know.
What
Whatever.
was that you, sir? What did you give it?
It give it like a solid 7.
You know we can't think of
Godzilla stompings.
Okay, there you go.
Godzilla stompings.
Oh yeah,
Excellent.
when he's gonna stand on your chest and just.
Oh,
totally
that was
break
so
down.
amazing. We just like submit.
He did his little Bruce Lee thing.
That was so good. I like that. It was really good.
Yeah, I
wanna
mean,
buy it.
I give it a 7 because I mean, there's stuff to enjoy in that movie, but it is just nowhere near.
But I want the real question is, how did that guy outrun the explosion of that little spaceship that jump started Kong's heart?
Well, he landed it and just ran out.
Yeah,
but that was just jump cutting. Yeah.
There's one thing I didn't mention I really liked. The part when he's in the Earth and he picks up the ship and he looks to see if the little girl's in there. He just crushes it and she said, "No."
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. He's like, "Are you in there? You're not."
Not yeah. We all laughed during that stuff. It was a funny movie. That's what I love. But
well, that's another wasted part. You got the father who's really the menacing thing, but he really wasn't doing much. And then he had his daughter there. There was the
and then Eric the vampire in it, which we all love.
I don't know.
Oh, from True Blood?
Yeah.
Well, it's a wasted character though.
A lot of people told me that. My buddy of mine is talking.
I actually
about...
like the Kong's human story better than the Godzilla human story.
Oh, of course, yeah.
The characters are wasted because they kept cutting back to Kong and they kept cutting back to the
a lot of weird cuts.
Part. And I'm like, there's too many things. They should have just kept it the two stories.
Yes. Speaking of which, cuts, I want to hear Mike's little talk on Snyder Cut because I have questions.
Okay.
Haven't seen it.
You'll see more in the in-depth review whenever I freaking finish that thing. I'm not an editor, so I'm sorry if it's taking forever. So very different movie. That's all I can. That's pretty much like the gist of it. It's a very different movie. Like not just because it's an extra 2-hour runtime, but like the characterizations are so much different. The plot points are fairly the same, but they're executed more a lot differently.
It looks better overall.
It does. It's a better viewing experience than the 2017 Justice League. So, what questions do you have, Will?
I saw that in theater too.
Well, the only question. Well, I haven't seen it. I only saw the original one once with.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. I've only seen it the one time.
One time.
I've seen it twice, 3 times.
But the only question I really have is it on DVD? The original cut. It's 2 years old.
The original, the 2017 version?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It's on DVD?
Blu-ray forever. Yes.
So it's on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Is this new Snyder Cut going to be on Blu-ray?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I think
because I know they hate the studio. I heard they hate this movie. They like that it made money, but they hate the idea that it exists.
Yes, they very much are
just because they made them do something.
Because technically it is the first one ever. And so I remember I was talking to someone and I made a reference to say it's one of the few times that collectively fans and people said, let's do this, I want to see that. And when it started becoming a more real thing, people got on board and were like, yes, do this. Like, if you have the opportunity, do it. And so I think they finally just went, you know what? And I said, you know what might have started it slightly? Was Sonic. Sonic was one of the first movies I ever heard of.
About that.
That I ever heard of, though. Our studio went back and spent the money to go redo a whole thing instead of just saying, you know what?
And then
it's going to crash.
And then fire all the editors.
Yeah, and be like, it's going to crash.
Animators.
Let's just throw it out there and
that was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
It was entertaining. I think people asked me, they went, you saw the movie? Like, was it good? I was like,
I laughed.
For going in thinking, it's a Sonic movie. It's a franchise that's been up and down and has been throwing out garbage for a while, like game-wise. It has some gold ones, but a lot of garbage to just throw out. The movie was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was fun. It was just, I don't want to say dumb fun because that's like belittling it a little bit, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was something I'd recommend to people with families, or even if you're just going out the movie like, there's nothing to watch, what do you want to watch?
Sonic was funny.
Let's watch Sonic.
Yeah. I like Sonic too.
Yes, but
it's the same thing where it's like it's the first one I ever heard of. It's the first one of its kind to ever just go back and be like,
and supposedly
the movie came out.
Yeah.
But we redid it.
Yeah.
And supposedly there's a rumor that the executive who approved the Snyder Cut for HBO Max might be might have been or will be getting fired because WB was not in the slightest wanting this movie.
How dare they make
exist.
Twice as much of a movie?
But when you watch the two movies, you can understand why. Because the main thing I've been seeing, watching people react to it, is that if the plot points are the exact same, because the plot points are the exact same. What the hell were they thinking when they brought Joss Whedon in to totally change the tone of the movie and totally change how the movie was
Same reason like other directors come. I'm doing my
when people break it down and I see certain things of why they changed it, I thought the same thing too. I started listening more and seeing what was changing. I'm like, why? That was the main question I'm asking. Like, why did you do that? Why would you do that? I get you want to put your own stamp on it and say this is my stamp, and it's like, why do you have to put your own stamp on it? It's like the whole Rian Johnson thing with the Star Wars thing, but that's a whole other thing. But it's like that.
Yeah, I've seen other movies. That's
where
like,
it's just like
to make my
where
version.
it's just like, why do you want to put your own stamp on it? It's a one time you're doing it. Just follow the formula.
I feel
it's there.
I feel it was studio notes for Joss Whedon
I'm sure.
to make it more like a Marvel movie, And
I'm sure that was written on the board.
But they're not. But they're not Marvel movies. Like honestly, like 100%, I will agree with this. Like although that some people whine about, oh, Superman was this or oh this was that. I'm like, they're entertaining at least. I still firmly stand in my thing where I'm like, we're getting to see our favorite superheroes on screen multiple times, different variations of them. White bitch.
Oh, that's
like
the
I get to see. I get to see Batman. One of my favorite characters growing up. I watched the animated series, blah blah blah. I've always wanted to see live action. I love the Michael Keaton ones. I even like the Val Kilmer one. I even have a soft spot for the Batman and Robin, George Clooney one. Like, there's at least segments to like in there. There's parts where I'm like, I like that.
Yeah, it matters what kind of mood you'll
Did
be
the
in
movie
to watch
suck
it.
overall? Yeah, it sucked. But I still
will defend the Val Kilmer one. That movie, in retrospect, does not suck.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. There are sucky parts.
Yes.
But there are some parts where I'm like, yeah, if they would have done this different, like that's one where it's like, if they could ever go back and redo something like that, make it a little more edgy. Go back to the Tim Burton style almost, But I'm saying, like, I've never once sat there and been like, oh, this is bullshit. They're just running. I don't want to see this. This is blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, no, I get to watch the X-Men on screen. I get to watch Deadpool. We wouldn't have Deadpool. We wouldn't have the Avengers. We wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have that, if they didn't start somewhere. People just like to bitch and moan about stuff. Yes, there's some terrible ones out there. But you can name off any of the superhero movies, and I'd be like, there's something to like in all of them. Like, there are ones where, we never asked for certain characters. You could even dive back where you can talk about the early Marvel movies. And I'm like, they weren't great because they didn't know where they were going with it.
Yeah.
They were just... There was no safety net. They just were jumping. They're like, whatever. We land where we land. Hopefully it's a nice soft spot.
Yeah, the first two Hulks. It's like, wow, we really have read a comic, have you?
I like the Incredible Hulk, although it could have been better. I like the Incredible Hulk.
Well, I'm talking about the first one, Ang Lee's, where he just gets bigger. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like that one you can clearly see. That was like the early Marvel's movies. That's like watching Ghost Rider or watching...
Ghost Rider 2.
The original Spider-Mans, the original Spider-Mans were great, and some people say they can't be touched. I'm like, there's some stuff that you could fine-tune in those ones. But yeah, they were the ones that started off with them. The original X-Men's. There's a big thing that I always hated where I'm like, why do you gotta make everybody younger? That was their big thing back in the day. Everyone got younger, or they casted older actors as younger actors, so they could never find that one point where I'm like, in the X-Men, why don't you swap it? Make those ones older, make that cast member younger, So they couldn't really find their footing, but it seems like obviously they found their footing now with all the Marvel movies that come out, because now they know they can take a risk and people are still going to love them.
Yeah, put a 50-year-old Robert Downey Jr. and makes $1 billion. But yeah, this Batman of Superman, I want to see it still. I just don't have
Zack Snyder's
But that's always been my argument. That it's good to see them do that and just go back, and it's funny to just hear people complain about stuff. And I get why Warner Bros. Is probably mad, because who wants to hear a bunch of people saying, wow, so much better.
He wants to hear a bunch of people say, like, wow, you screwed up Justice League big time.
I think it's more that is they feel like they're going to lose stuff, and I'm like, no, just take a lesson from it. Take the hit. Don't...
You're making money. You're making money, yeah.
Well, also, too, what's really going on, too, with I think another reason they want to distance themselves from this version of the movie is because of Ray Fisher, with all the controversy coming out.
The Flash, right?
Him. No, that's Cyborg. The guy who played Cyborg.
What do you do now? I heard the Flash did a bunch of weird stuff.
The Flash, yeah. Ezra Miller did something very controversial, but nothing happened to him.
I was going to say, I feel like that kind of got... Because more came into light. I'm pretty sure he did something foolish, but at the same time, I think it was just... They looked at it finally and were just like, you know what, it's not... Whatever.
Well, what'd this guy do now?
Ray Fisher, he didn't do anything wrong. What it is he's been calling out how he was treated on the set of Justice League when Joss Whedon took over.
That was the whole Joss Whedon thing.
Was he even on the set? He was using flus.
People were... Because a lot of people came forward on the whole Joss Whedon thing saying he's pretty much calling him like a bully in a sense.
Yeah, he's a bully. Yeah, they say he bullies people. He's
really hard to work with.
Wait. That's the one where he's not allowed with...
Yeah,
because it all led to the whole cast.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but
Buffy and
allegedly.
Yeah.
You mean allegedly?
I have a speech impediment, sir.
Okay, sorry.
That's another thing.
Anyway, no, that you can see why there's issues there, because if you watch the two movies, Cyborg's role is a lot more important, and his character is more fleshed out in Zack Snyder's version than it is in just in Joss Whedon's version. So you can see why he was a little bit sour, and also probably and he probably was speaking out like, hey, this isn't what Zack Snyder wanted, like this isn't his original vision, and then Joss Whedon probably being like,
how dare you?
Zack's not here, I'm here right now. I don't know what this is.
I feel like
I'm speculating. I wasn't there.
That sounds like a boss.
I feel like it just boils down to that. Is this you're just hard to work with, just being.
But you figure he was a Broadway actor, and this was his big break into movies, and Zack Snyder probably told him, "You're my focal point. You're my central character in this story." And then Joss Whedon comes around and says, "No, never mind.
We're not gonna finish your animated.
You get out of here. Get out of here." And then they completely change his storyline, and they make it like so much less important. I can see why he would probably voice his opinions, and then
you know what? It's funny because even before the Zack Snyder Cut was even announced, I could pick apart the movie and be like, man, there's so much missing. It feels like there's so much on the cutting room floor. And then when you see this, I think that's why. I mean, again, we can't speak for them, but I'm pretty sure that's 100% why that some people are angry at the fact that it did get made. Because to me, I'm like, why do you get angry? Yeah, you got money the first time, you get money the second time.
My biggest,
exactly.
My biggest criticism is that they put too much back from the cutting room floor, because there's a lot of sequences that don't need to be in here. Like they broke it down. There's about 20 plus minutes of slow mo altogether in the movie. Like if they took all the slow mo motions, they timed it out. And it's like it takes up about 20% of the movie or something like that.
Well, let me ask you this: would you enjoy the movie enough that wouldn't really matter, like overall? Because there's some movies where you can be like, because you watch like 300, there's a lot of slow mo in 300, but the movie's enjoyable enough that it never bothers you.
It is excessive. The only thing I can say is that the extended scenes that, like, there's a whole sequence with Aquaman when after he meets Bruce Wayne for the first time, he goes, that scene when he goes into the ocean, like. You're crazy, Bruce Wayne, and he swims off.
He that's of emotion.
No, he swims off, but then like the villagers that that from the village that he helps. There's a group of I call them the Aquaman groupies, because they're like they're all a bunch of females, and they're like right there watching him go away, and they start singing this like Icelandic folk song.
It goes on for like 7 minutes.
It goes on for like 5 minutes, yeah. And then there's one girl especially, she picks up his sweater that they drop on the floor, and she smells it.
Oh my god, I was joking.
And she starts singing, and I'm like, and it goes on for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, you could have literally just stopped it right when she picked up the sweater. Like, you could have just like.
Well, now I gotta watch this movie.
And then
just like very much you're saying, just.
And then there's also repetitive scenes, like I know you've probably seen the end of the trailer when the Flash saves the girl in slow motion. Like he runs super fast, and he sees her there, and she's like getting thrown out of the car. Well, he does like some creepy stuff, like he caresses the side of her face, and it's a little awkward. And
why?
Because I guess he's socially inept. I don't know. He doesn't know how to connect socially, so he's like.
I heard some stuff that his character was supposed to be, which is kind of weird.
And then, but really, what that scene does is it sets up his abilities, and it sets up everything. Like, it sets up his awkwardness and everything. But then you fast forward like 10 minutes later, and when he meets Bruce Wayne for the first time, it's the exact same thing. Bruce Wayne throws a batarang at him, shows his powers, then it shows how socially inept he is, and then he needs friends. So it's like, you literally have the same scene. And then there's a bunch of scenes with Steppenwolf, and like they introduce more characters from Apocalypse. Like Desaad is one of the main characters they introduce that he communicates with back and forth. They have the exact same scene like 4 times. Like, what's your progress, Steppenwolf? I have 1 box. I'm on my way to the other. I have another box. I am on my way to the other. And like, you don't really need that. The only time it's necessary is when they introduce Darkseid.
Was he keeping all the stuff in just feel like for spite, or because he thought it was funny, or you really thought that was?
What are you talking about?
Probably just like he probably felt just needed to tell the story.
But like
some people can be like, you don't really need all that.
Well, no, it's okay.
4 hours, right? 4 hours, right?
The way I see it is Zack Snyder took full advantage of the fact that he did not have to cut this movie down to like 2.5 hours.
He put his full vision in.
Yeah, he put because most directors.
Yeah, but Tarantino, like I said, The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Beautiful. How long is that, man? It's like I could do a couple more minutes
Maybe
of that.
Zack Snyder's not Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, maybe he just felt like he wanted to make a statement saying,
Yeah.
"This is my vision."
This is
Start
what I
to
wanted.
finish.
I wanted creepy Icelandic singers to sniff Aquaman's
He's like,
fish-smelling sweater
"This
and
is
then
my
sing a
apocalypse."
song.
I've been
No.
losing sleep at night because I can't have this in my movie.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, but to defend the Barry Allen scene when he's doing that, it is a beautiful scene. The CG is amazing, and it does look cool visually. It's just weird and doesn't need to be in there. It's a cool deleted scene, or like a cool like little short film. Like if they wanted like that, the Alien movies did that. Like from was it Covenant? They released like a bunch of deleted scenes and as short film perspectives.
Bring up that movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Someone touch you in that movie or what? Oh, you just don't like it?
Covenant.
It's horrible.
It's fine.
No, it's not.
It's fine.
It's not Alien movie.
I
But no, that's what they did.
Call it idiots on a mission.
Yeah, that's what they
idiots on
did
a
in
ship.
Alien Covenant. There was a bunch of like
The
material
dumb-
that they were gonna cut out, and
They ended up putting on YouTube the whole James Franco stuff and stuff like that.
Ridley
oh
Scott's
yeah, I
son.
forgot he was in there for like.
Ridley
30
Scott's
seconds.
son actually directed those scenes that were gonna be cut. They're like, let me just take these scenes. I'll make them into little short films, and we'll put them up on YouTube as a promotional campaign. That's something they could have done with this movie. Like a lot of that stuff, they could have just put it up like as little short films.
Why don't they just do this like how Legend did it? The one with Tom Cruise and Tim Curry as the devil and stuff. The same disc has two versions, like some cut and some other cut, and they just the other one's long as hell, and they just kept more stuff in there and stuff.
Yeah, but that's for
Yeah, it's
afterwards,
that movie.
though. Those are old school ways of doing it. Because I have the whole Alien series, and I have the theatrical cut and the extended cut, where they add like 15 minutes to each movie.
Is it like okay?
Yeah, I mean, they fill in little gaps, like, I want to say Aliens 2, they do the whole, they put the motion guns in the hallway, and they actually show the scene when they're going off. That's not in the original movie. Showing little things of what happened here, what happened there. So they add on a little bit. Or even in Aliens 3, instead of it being the Rottweiler, it's an actual giant
Oh, is it ox and stuff?
Yeah.
I haven't. Okay, now you're not talking about. Yeah,
so
but
it's like stuff like that, but that's usually afterward. That's why they come and call extended things. Blade Runner, the final cut. There's like four variations of Blade Runner.
yeah.
So those are things afterwards. This is the first movie, so it's hard to really weigh in on this movie because it's the first one of its kind
Yes.
to ever be cut and theatrical. Well, I don't want to say theatrical release, but put out for audience.
Star
Yeah,
Wars.
because this isn't because
Star Wars.
No, they actually didn't make this as a comparison. This is literally the first movie of its
But those
kind
weren't
because-
totally redone. Those are added on little
Yeah.
segments and little dropped in little. You can really notice those ones. I mean, come on. It's
Yeah.
like if you suddenly were in a Star Wars movie. You weren't born in like 19 whatever, but it's like you're like, hi,
But-
I've always been here.
But the
Look
reason,
right into the camera, Boba Fett.
but the reason why this movie is unique is
He was
because
Boba Fett.
it's. But the reason why this movie is unique is because it's literally the same movie.
Oh, 2 years later, yeah.
It's just, it's not a director's cut where it's like, because most director's cuts are like what Adrian was saying. It's just like added on scenes or deleted scenes that were just added back into.
Slightly altered.
Or slightly altered. Like I think the original theatrical cut of Blade Runner, there was voiceover, and then in Ridley Scott's final cut, there was no.
There's like
No,
7
they
cuts.
they
of Blade
added
Runner.
the voice. Well, they added the voiceover.
Yeah.
Because Harrison Ford didn't want to do the voiceover.
Yeah. So, but in this one, it's just like it's the same movie, just cut and edited completely different. You're gonna make him spit on my.
He's all tickling me at where we're at Burger King or like tickling me in line and stuff. Oh, now you don't want to admit. Yeah, there we go.
So anyway, yeah. So remember, we're on camera now.
I was grabbing for his nip.
Anyway, yeah. So this is a very unique movie. Nothing like this has ever been attempted before. It's like a studio has never made one version of a movie and let a director come back and make a totally different version of the movie.
I wonder if it's gonna happen again.
Probably not. Yeah, it's a one-time. This was a one-time experiment, and basically what Warner Brothers is seeing is like it worked to get subscribers on HBO Max, but it also hurt them because it's like everyone's saying Warner Brothers, you're a bunch of idiots. How dare you have? And then also it backfired on them because people who were Snyder Cut defenders and Snyder Cut, people like release the Snyder Cut, they started review bombing Kong vs. Godzilla to get them to restore the Snyderverse. Now they're trying to get Warner Brothers to bring Zack Snyder back complete.
Wow,
It's a
people are
thing
garbage.
of winning one fight, but then overstaying and overstepping type thing, which is like okay, you guys won the one thing. You guys don't need to keep on. It's done.
Okay.
It's like you guys what you want, but now they got a little taste. It's like yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's like when you battle one thing, it's all right, but then you wind up opening the floodgates to people thinking, no, we have the power. We can tell them to do whatever we
Sonic,
want.
We did for this.
And I'd be like, no, we did something because one, he had an idea, a tragedy happened in his life. So if all those things didn't come into play, I feel like they would never have done this again.
No, I think
because there's the unfortunate thing of his daughter committing suicide, and then him having to step away and do all that stuff, and then having someone totally different come in and also redo the whole thing, and then having it being said, it's like, this wasn't my vision.
Yeah, the first one wasn't that good.
So I feel like the worst thing happened to the movie that could happen, and then all the right circumstances from that all happened to create this situation where they wanted to come back. Because one, you had people wanting to see what it originally was when they started finding out that there was something different. Plus they had the time now because of everything going on,
Mm-hmm.
Like there wasn't stuff coming out. There was more time to put something towards this. Because if this whole sickness never happened, I'm pretty sure we'd probably never see the Snyder Cut.
Oh yeah, we never.
It would just be something that was always said.
Yeah, everyone at home had nothing to do besides bitch.
But this was part of. This was one of the things that Warner Brothers. This was a smart thing from the Warner Media, the people that run HBO Max.
Oh, HBO Max probably happy, yeah.
They needed subscriber boosts, and unfortunately one of the things that hurt them was the fact that they announced that they were gonna all the 2020 movies or the 2021 movies were gonna release on HBO Max simultaneously with their theatrical releases wherever theaters were open. It backfired on them because the directors and a lot of the studios that were partnered with HBO or Warner Brothers didn't know about this move until the news came out. So they really needed they needed a win. HBO Max needed a win. Snyder Cut was the win for them, and they, no harm in pissing off your own studio, but now there's talks that some of the movies that were supposed to come out on HBO Max might be theatrical only. Like Dune is going to probably be theatrical only now. So
that's one movie I'd prefer watching in theaters anyway.
All the movies that are coming out, I would rather like. The only one I didn't watch in theaters when it first came out was Judas and the Black Messiah because theaters weren't open when it came out. But Godzilla was out when theaters, literally the day theaters opened, like the weekend before they came out, theaters opened up. We're going to see Mortal Kombat in theaters. I want to keep the movie theater going experience alive, so I will see all these big movies in
it's just
theaters.
Movie theaters and theme parks. That's all we got.
Well,
Disney Plus said
I just meant in general because I know that this is something that happened even before this was all coming into play, closing theaters, that they started doing watch it on Netflix or in theaters, and some people were like, if they're going to show it in Netflix, why am I going to go to the theaters? Because there's some movies that are worth watching in theaters. You get that feeling. You get the power of the music, the sound, the quality of the screen, the enjoyment of sitting in the chair. You can't get that on it. I mean, my sound's pretty good here on TV, but I have to worry about neighbors or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, I can't just full on be like, okay, turn it all the way up, shaking the house.
I was house sitting at my old roommate's house like the weekend after we saw Godzilla vs. Kong, and they have HBO Max too, so I put on Godzilla vs. Kong. Totally different experience watching it on screen on TV, and they have a decent sized TV, not as big as my TV in my room,
but having experienced it in the theater, it was just like not the same.
Plus I fell asleep because I was tired.
There's that too.
Yeah, of course. You want to watch Star Wars in the theater. You want to watch King Kong. Something
like Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. Big.
Dune for sure.
Dune for sure. Yeah.
Some of you got
I'm not really
the
a Dune
atmospheres.
Fan. So, I need to read Should I read the book before?
I feel like it's the grand scale. Like, the bigger the scale of the movie, the better. It would be like watching Lord of the Rings in theaters. If I only watched it on DVD, I'd be like, it's a cool movie. But if I watched it in theaters, I'd be like, it's an amazing movie. I want to see some
epic thing.
Yeah, I'd be like, it's an amazing movie.
See, those type of movies I need to watch in theaters because it pulls my attention.
I always wish they would do a run back of those.
I get too distracted.
Surprised they haven't.
Yeah.
I think they did for a little bit. They did they didn't do one of the Lord of the Rings? Could have sworn they did Return of the King or something for one of the classic throwbacks for some certain theaters that opened up.
See Jaws all the time and Star Wars.
Back to the Future all the time.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. Well, Ghostbusters Afterlife, that was supposed to come out last year too.
Yeah.
So many movies that were supposed to come out last year. Oh, so sad. We would have seen Black Widow already. Just think about that.
I still don't know if the trailer what I saw with Taskmaster was a real trailer or not.
Isn't that the only?
I don't know. I seen 3 trailers. The coolest one I saw with Taskmaster, just doing stuff, and then cut it to like Avengers doing stuff, same stuff. I don't know if that's real or not.
Well, yeah, the whole idea is Taskmaster always steals the abilities. He copies the abilities.
I know that, but I just seen it. I don't know if it's a legit.
Isn't that the only Marvel movie coming out too?
Yeah.
That's on
Eternals
the
is slated for November, but they might push it back if.
It's gotta be pushed back. That.
It's Disney Plus.
Yeah. No, because I think they might go back on what they said, because they said that Black Widow is going to premiere in July, I think, or August. I forgot what day, but but it was going to do Disney Premiere Plus access and then theaters same day. But I think that with theaters opening up again and the numbers for Godzilla vs. Kong, I wouldn't be surprised if they come back and they say
No one's watching Black Widow.
We're changing our mind. Like it was theater exclusive only. Like everybody's gonna go watch Black Widow. What are you talking about? Everybody that can. You don't want to see Black Widow?
No, it's not that. I just feel like the gap between watching that and wanting to see it is.
But I think with all the
getting
hype
wider
going
and
on
wider right now.
I think with all the hype going on right now with WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier.
If they came out with a
Loki's gonna come
WandaVision
out
movie,
in
Loki,
May.
if Loki came out with a movie,
Well,
I would go see that.
Because let's put it this way: those are shows, and people know what they're getting in for. This is a movie. It's a one-off.
Yeah, we know she's dead already, so
it's just like
There's still another 5 years in between.
no. What I mean is it's just
Infinity War and Endgame.
because how long has Endgame been over?
3 years.
It's going on two years, 3 years. I think it's 2
3
years.
years. No, it came out in. No, wait, yeah, you're right. 2 years because it
Been
came
out
out
2
in
years.
2019.
So it's been about 2 years, and they still haven't pumped out a movie other than we got Spider-Man
Far From Home.
and what else?
That's it.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, because.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's what I'm saying is the gap is getting wider and wider between movies and to have that one. I mean, people will go watch it, but for her to be the selling point, I feel like the movie should have been before Endgame or something like that.
It should have been.
It should have.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like it's a selling point that people probably would have gone to watch it if it was right after Spider-Man or something like that. But I'm just saying that the gap is getting larger for it to be a really like.
I think what they're banking on was her death being the driving motivation for people.
It's being the catalyst of being like, we miss Black.
I'll just wait a week and
as I
hear
said,
about it.
it's
on
getting-
YouTube.
It's the pandemic, but we won't know. It's a little bit of an asterisk because if it wasn't for the pandemic, we would have known how bad people would want to see.
Well,
it.
I'm just referring. That's why I'm referring to the situation now. Is I'm like the gap is just it's widening. I'm not saying that this didn't play a part in it. I'm just saying that whether or not they played a part in it, it's happened. So it's just the gap's getting wider and wider. But it also got pushed back even before that. So
Yeah.
I don't even know what else I'm talking about.
Oh,
Black
going
Gum
to separate
Bus.
reviews. Yes. Well, I want to talk about Fallout 76 real fast. I'll make it small.
Go right ahead. That's still a thing.
It is. It is. They put out 2 DLCs recently. It came out 2018.
Never even heard of the DLCs, to be honest. Like, it's honestly, you got to be, I guess, a person already playing it to know.
Yeah, because the DLCs are
The what?
blah. The DLCs for
I was like DLCs.
DLCs for Fallout 76. It was nice because when I first played late 2018 when it came out for Fallout 76, there was no people in the world. It was the whole thing was like build your own world. You can build your own camp with other people online, and there's no other like NPCs walking around besides just maybe robots here and there. No one liked that.
Who would? That's
No one. The world was huge. Like I still haven't discovered the entire world. It is big. Like I mastered pretty good close to Fallout 4, Fallout 3, 76 numerous times. But this one, like even the DLCs, they put people in there. They put a second main story to do. The payoff for the main story was meh. It was like a weapon you get that's crap, and even they make a point to talk about how it's crap after you get it.
It's kind of like Destiny.
I never played Destiny.
Well, it sounds like the same thing where it's like it came out and you're just like, put out more stuff. We already finished the game. It's like we already finished what we could. Now we're just walking around.
Yeah. Well, it's good about the Fallout game. It's ongoing. Like it's there's still a lot of stuff you can do. I just redid it. Talk about this. I did the Brotherhood of Steel. About to finish the main quest. I'm about level like 36. I think it tops out at 100 and something. A lot of levels, but like all the DLCs, they put people throughout the world and stuff like that, so you can run into people and merchants and stuff like that.
That was a terrible idea to just not have nobody in the world.
It was a different idea.
Great, a vast nothingness.
Yeah, it was pretty much that. Which you could make sense, like there wasn't a large population in Virginia that survived, compared to like Vegas, where there'd be like millions of people.
The only problem I have with that is the point of games is the camaraderie, coming across people, having a purpose.
Well, it's a lot better in Red Dead 2 online. That was awful because you can't do a single thing without
I played
numerous people online.
I was gonna say I never played that game. I mean, I played the game, but I never played the online.
Online was bad. You have to have numerous people online you don't know or that you knew to do anything besides just walking around looking at your hands. The story's amazing, but with Fallout 76, you run into people and you have a choice to attack or a choice to not. You can go in their house and steal their stuff, but you get branded and you get caps for doing stuff. It's really generous too for giving you every time you do a certain number of achievements, it gives you points that you can buy at the store to improve your house or improve your outfit or emotes and stuff like that. So, like if you want to play it, like.
Let's say, is this your first online game?
No, I played.
I was like, you seem all excited about it. So I was like, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 forever, and I'm like, they do all that too.
They do. Well, I'm not used to that. I'm used to playing Elder Scrolls Online. They don't give you anything free. I played a lot of online games like through the mobile and stuff.
Yeah. But this is your first one where it's like they give you like, well, for the game.
Well, like when it first came out in 2018, they didn't give you anything free.
Yeah. Now
this is all like, oh, it's free. Come stay and
now
play.
There's in-game currency, not purchasable currency.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like on Elder Scroll Online, like you can see Purple walk around on a giant golden stallion with wings and stuff, with 2 other monster minions following. I'm like, how do I get that? Oh, you got to pay $50. Yeah. Plus, you have to pay $50 in this time frame because you can't get it now. Time frame's up. This one, they're actually.
So now it's $100.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, jeez.
So Fallout 76, they're doing a lot better with giving you stuff for free, keeping people on. It's a fun game. Just like it's better to play now.
Excuse me. Oh god, it's late.
It is.
It's funny because this is the first I've reheard of the game. Is you actually mentioning it?
Well, it's a lot better than a No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is just garbage. It's garbage then. It's garbage now. I replayed it recently to see how it was. It's still garbage.
A lot of people are saying it's better now.
No, it's a fetch quest. One fetch quest.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just seems. It doesn't seem like my cup of tea. I know there's some people that there's a demographic for that. It's not mine.
No, it was bad then, bad now. This is actually a little bit better. Not a whole lot. Fallout 4 was great. Fallout, all of them are great. I'm just waiting for the new one, which they haven't talked about anything else coming out yet because they're still working on long guys. Same with Elder Scrolls. They mentioned one coming out in 2018, but they said don't even worry about it because it ain't gonna come out for this console.
It'll be for 5, or say 5.
Maybe
whatever.
Who knows?
Xbox the new thing called?
The Xbox Series 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I'm gonna have to get.
Sure.
Because I want to play RPGs. But that's right.
Play by yourself.
I'm gonna have to.
I'm sticking with Sony just because it's just easier.
Oh. Did my battery just die? Oh, the camera just died, so we'll continue this in the audio only.
Yeah, we've been a long show.
The end was me talking shit about the
Well, the video portion of it.
Well, that's pretty much it. Fallout, if you want to play it, at least play it now. Give it a chance. If not, at least try the DLCs, just so you have more more going on in the world. Don't worry about finishing them so much. Like, there are other DLCs. It's a fun game. I liked it. I'm still playing it now. I'm going to go home and play it maybe this weekend. What about you guys? Anything quick?
Everything
you don't even play.
Thanks for the show, everybody.
Well, not gonna end just like that. That was it. You just want to say anything? Thanks for listening, bro.
If you guys want to watch more of our stuff, we have our more in-depth views on movies, video games, and I'm gonna try to do a little more comics when it comes out. We got more stuff gonna come up on YouTube, so if you guys want to listen to that, You can talk to us on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to put more polls to see what you guys want to listen to, like we talked about earlier. If you have any questions for us, you can always message us. If you guys want to have any ideas of what... Sorry, I thought you wanted to add in. Anything you want us to do, talk about, any movies you want us to listen to. Adrian's got a ton of movies and video games, up-to-date stuff. I'm more of a retro kind of guy. I'm just playing Sword and Shield right now. Pretty fun Pokemon game. And the new one looks... Oh, we had the new one. They have 2 Pokemon games that come out. And the big joke is they look like the last Zelda games that just came out.
That's funny.
So if you guys want to listen to more of our stuff, you know where to reach us. That's pretty much it.
Oh, you went really far on that one. I forgot what I was going to say now again. Mm-hmm. It is late, though.
It is very late. We did a long show. It's been a long time since we did a show. Yeah. I'm glad that you stayed this long to listen to us. We're going to put out more shows hopefully soon.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see only an image, but thank you for sticking on when the battery died.
It'll be us. It's a still image of us going thumbs up.
Yeah. That's hilarious. But were you going to say something, Adrian?
I think my jab at the end. No, I was going to say, what are we on now for the podcast? Because did you switch recently?
It's just the hosting site. I switched, so it's Anchor. I don't remember the links off the top of my head. We'll put them in the description.
I know we're still on iHeartRadio. We're on iTunes Store.
Spotify. The Anchor gives us a bunch of different options for.
I was going to say, we could be on iTunes
We'll be on iTunes still.
We're on Spotify?
Spotify now, yeah, because the RSS feed Anchor will... I have to update everything.
Everyone's always asking me about Spotify. I'm like, I'm pretty sure.
It's going to be a long-ass episode, but hopefully they will listen to it.
And then we'll have a video up on YouTube. We'll probably... I don't know if you... We'll test out different variations. We'll do
like segment cuts
or should we try putting out the full thing?
Just put the full thing.
Yeah. We'll put the full thing on
because we didn't format it to do stops for our sections. Yeah. We got to number something if we're gonna do that next time.
Yeah, we'll put the full thing on, and if you guys want to see just like segmented clips, let us know. But yeah, so that's pretty much it from me. You guys have anything else to add?
I like Pokemon.
We could just jump around this stuff.
Yeah, well, thanks for listening to us. Hope you made it this far, and if you did, thank you very much. And I'm William Jerk.
Yeah, well, and I'm Asian. Hopefully we'll put out a lot more stuff coming up soon.
And I'm Mike. Stay safe, everybody.